Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, as well as those watching us on YouTube. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here, who's late night at Hudson's once again because these 8:30 starts are wonderful for Tommy.
8:50.
And Murray McCourt joining us from the ranch, but also the VIP Golf Show Season 6 teed off yesterday.
That was a light. You liked that one. You noticed that on social media, did you?
Gotta use those round of clicks, as EST Glue Guy would say. Lots of Oilers to talk, but how was it getting back in the hosting chair?
Oh, absolutely loved it. Just fabulous. To actually just be back and talking golf and being back on with Stalker was amazing. But just the comfort level that I'm here on EST with you guys, and there's not going to be any plug pulled from Bell Media on anything. I mean, this is just going to be a smooth ride this year, and no stress, no heartaches, no headaches like there was last year. But just looking forward to it. 2 hours long, and it was a great show yesterday. I thought we had just fabulous guests on, and as the season kicks off and more events start happening and whatnot, going to be lots to talk about, and excited to be back and doing it again, man.
I liked the updates from around the courses here in the city. That's what I really appreciated. It's just kind of getting a status on where everybody was at.
Well, and from all accounts, golf courses wintered really well. So that's great for the golfers, in the Edmonton area, that they're not going to be dealing with some rough conditions and things like that. I mean, every course needs some rain. Every course needs some heat. But from all accounts, courses are in really good condition for this time of year, and that's great for the people that get out and play golf.
One last one from me, Matthew. I think you want to move on, but no, okay, you're good. Okay,
I'm not going to let's move on to the VIP golf. That's enough of VIP golf.
Too early. No, the update on Northern Bear was great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of people are wondering, hey, what's going to happen, and that was important to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Right, exactly. And they are open now. I mean, obviously the story of local golf, was the fire at the Northern Bear Clubhouse, and so it makes sense. A couple years to get a new clubhouse up and built there, but they still have the great golf course, fabulous place to play golf, and so hopefully people get out there and support them, and they need it. This is some tough times for them, and
still
lots
hosting
to go
the ATB
through.
Classic,
Which is
nice.
Exactly. That's going to be great for them, and so it was awesome to get Blair on and hear everything about it. I feel bad for him because he winters in Arizona and
He had to hike it back,
had to hike it back and lost the rest of his time off in the wintertime that he always takes. But
well, at least it wasn't a terrible winter here.
Well,
True.
fair.
That's is it right. Like at
I
least
think
you're
it
not
was the
coming up
minus 40 when he had to come back.
Yeah.
Well, that was when the fire was.
Yeah, it's when the fire happened, right? And then in a circumstance like that, like I was moving around my place when I was listening to you talking to Blair, you and Stalker, but in a situation like that, like, can you charge the same green fees without the club? How do you handle that? Did he go? I can't remember if you got into that with him or not.
It didn't get into that. I mean,
Like, how would you go
interesting
about that?
Well, you're paying for
Interesting
the
question.
course, not for the clubhouse.
For the clubhouse,
in my mind.
I know.
Well, it is still an all-encompassing experience,
And that was a
you're-
beautiful-
Sure, but it's like I go
clubhouse.
into your 19th hole. I'm paying for food. I'm paying for drinks. That's where I'm paying for
Right,
that.
yeah.
I feel like when I'm paying for the green fee, I'm paying for the condition of the course. I'm paying for the 18
the way it
holes.
should be.
I'm paying
Fair.
for the practice, whatever you might be there, like say the
Facilities,
green
yeah.
and stuff. That, like, I think if I was going to Northern Bear this year, I wouldn't expect personally for cheaper fees just because
Yeah.
there's no clubhouse.
I agree with you, but I feel like some people are going to view it that way, that they're
Yeah.
not getting the full proper service level and the full experience that they've gotten before. But man, I wish people, I hope people just disregard that thought and just go out there and play
Just
golf. 'Cause it is-
understand.
just understand that they're in a tough spot and not through any fault of their own. It's
No.
still a great golf course. So, pay the fee that they need to charge, and away you go.
Rip City Step in the nasty chat. Tequila Tommy.
Oh yeah,
They dropped tequila with you right during the post game.
yeah, deliberately.
You and Belsey, who doesn't like limes with his tequila. Like, he was adamant about no lime.
Yeah, he was. He said, get that out of here.
I was very intrigued. I'm
Yeah.
intrigued by that. Like,
Yeah.
why he absolutely hates limes, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, he should hate tequila. Like
I hate tequila, but it was.
But you still did it.
Yes, it was offered to
Well,
us.
and like when
okay.
you're on the air, it's hard to be like,
And it was-
no. And you look, the listeners are all probably like, hey, Tommy, do it. So you're kind of stuck doing it.
Exactly, and it was AM Nasties that came all the way up for Calgary specifically for the watch party. So, it was nice of
You
them.
had to do what you had to do.
Had to do what you had to do. So it was good, and I wasn't drinking during the. I think I had one 6 o'clock or lager during the game. So it was a good night. And talking to Connor and the staff at Hudson's White Avenue, they were very happy. Great turnout. Shout out to everybody who came out that watches and listens to us. And then there were some others that you know what, it's been good being on location, especially White Avenue, West Edmonton Mall too. But people being like, oh, that's where you guys are now, and like you're starting to see it click a little bit. So just boots on the ground type of thing, and the watch parties definitely help. So a lot of fun last night for a Sunday that started at basically 9 o'clock.
A great turnout late on a Saturday or Sunday night. That's crazy.
As I was driving to Hudson's, I was driving during the first period.
Yeah.
Because I was here, and I was just thinking, like, I feel like I'm like 20 years old or something, going out for like a Saturday night. Like, this is when the night starts type thing, and this is when the hockey game's on. Like, this is ridiculous in a sense, but
It was
if
good.
the Oilers advance, well, it looks like it might be the Canucks actually, which doesn't help a second round
it's
time.
gonna be
We're still
late
waiting
again.
for time on Wednesday.
Yeah. That should come out today.
I would
actually.
think so. I don't know what's scheduled for Wednesday.
They
in terms
announced.
but
they
how many games are scheduled?
They announced one game on the Wednesday, and they said other Wednesday games TBD. I remember seeing that.
Okay,
like,
but
that means Edmonton.
so Panthers Lightning is if necessary. So I'm assuming they play tonight. Yes, they do. So if the Panthers beat the Lightning, there's only 2 games. You got Golden Knights, Stars, Kings, Oilers. I think there could be a potential that the Oilers might start a little earlier. Like Stars at Central Time. You could start that game maybe 6 Mountain, 7 Central.
Yeah, you could.
Can you do that even 6:30? 6:30 Central? Because then
they might not do it though.
but that's the thing. Like that 6:30 Central would be 7:30 Eastern. If you're starting at 7 Central, it's 8 Eastern. I guess that's not too bad. And then you could start the Oiler game. I guess start at 8.
That's the key word there is could, but will they?
It'll be 8 o'clock here.
Probably, yeah.
Just go. Lime takes away the tequila flavor. That's because we're not having good tequila sometimes. Go to Mexico, have good tequila.
Listen,
you don't need anything.
We weren't drinking Don Julio last night.
I was gonna say Hudson's probably doesn't have the the top shelf tequila.
Yeah,
that's why you need the lime. Lars Y saying, Maddie, are you willing to pay full summer price in April for spring golf under those conditions? Prices being what they are. I'll pay. Actually, for me, I'll pay whatever the course is charging. I wouldn't be upset if they were charging a full price all year.
But you're a guy that's willing to support understanding
but it's
the situation.
Also, I understand why
Not
some
everyone's like
courses more people would be like, I would like spring condition fees. The ranch does
We
it.
do that, for
as
sure.
opposed to full prices because the course hasn't gone up to full shape yet.
Right.
But it's about where the course is at. Not to me again. It's not the clubhouse, and that's the difference for me at least. Is that if I go out in the beginning of April, I know it's not this. It might be great conditions for the time of year, but it's not peak conditions. I'm going to get June, July.
Exactly,
So I'll pay more then. But also, I understand if a course is going. No, I just have one price all year. I kind of get that.
Yeah, so like we're hopefully just getting our irrigation system up and going today, and so like the grass isn't even really growing. So you don't. I think we've cut the greens once all year. Normally you cut the greens once, sometimes even twice a day. You're rolling them and things like that. So we're rolling our greens, but we've cut them, I believe, just once. And but the grass isn't even growing. It's so cold. So
And we haven't had a lot of sun.
Yeah, so the conditions are, like you said, they're great for spring, but it's not peak conditions. Once we get the irrigation going, once we get some heat, then golf course can start maintaining the golf courses like they normally
bit
do.
higher overnight
and
lows.
then so then you're going to get better conditions, better putting surfaces and things like that. And then then it's more reasonable to charge your normal rack rate for sure.
Murray, I saw the post that the ranch official account put up on 15. You said Tuesday
Opens
looks
tomorrow
like.
it's only been closed for like 10 days.
Yeah, but you said you needed to get that grass in there, so the sod was put down. Let's
Right.
give us the full scope here.
Well, we did a big renovation on a few holes last year, but on number 15, we needed to keep part of the old green for people to putt on.
Right.
So now we had to finish off that renovation where we got rid of that old green, and so that big drop off into where that old green, that's all gone. It's all built up as a nice smooth, gradual climb up to the green. So if you land just a foot short of the green, your ball's going to end up a foot short of the green. It's not going to roll back down 50 feet and all that.
So it's going to be
kind of
like
stuff.
the rough, basically.
Well, it'll be fairway leading up.
Oh,
to,
fairway.
yeah.
Okay.
And did some more shaping around in there, and yeah, it's perfect. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. But we also got rid of all the trees except for one big kind of iconic looking tree.
Oh, I know
on the
what
right
you're
hand
talking.
side.
I've hit that one before.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those trees are gone. So it's it's tougher than it was before because the green is 30 yards further back than it was, but it's way more user friendly. And we also cut out a bunch of trees behind the green because where we moved that green to, if you hit it long by like 1 yard,
Good luck.
you were done.
Yeah, good
You're
luck.
in the tree. So we cleared out a bunch of trees back there and kind of got like a little catch area that balls can trickle down to so that you would have a pitch shot back up instead of just being in trees. So we've made it a lot more user friendly. It looks fantastic. And I think everyone's really going to love it. Like people were like, oh, like some people loved 15 after we changed it. Some people were like, what the heck is this?
15 was tricky.
Right,
before.
but it wasn't finished, and now it's
Yeah.
finished. People will get it now when they see that old green is now gone, and because like that was kind of silly, but it had to be done in 2 phases because we needed to keep that green for people to putt on.
Right. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, we'll get to the Oilers game in a second,
Yes,
but
yes,
I want to
yes.
go to a bigger picture NHL conversation just with the start times. Yesterday, the NHL 4 games, they stagger them all.
Yeah.
It started with Winnipeg, Colorado, then
It was great.
Vancouver, Nashville, was it? And then Rangers, Caps,
Correct.
Oilers, Kings.
Yes.
Now, so we all sit there 9 o'clock start, basically, which is 11 o'clock Eastern for Oilers and all
That's
that.
insane.
I get the staggering. Would it make more sense for the NHL, though, to maybe put like 2 games almost on around the same time? Where you
Yeah.
can flip between 2? Do you not maybe look at, you get Winnipeg, Avs, and let's say Nashville, Vancouver. One was at 12:30, one gets going at 1. And then the other 2 at like 5:30. So that when the intermissions happen for the first games, you can flip to the other
to the
game.
other one.
But then you could be flipping. Like, I understand the NHL's goal of having a game on at every time. The NBA did it yesterday too, but they also started a lot earlier.
You just have brought up the reason.
Is because the NBA is doing it?
NBA.
But you're not the NBA if you're the NHL. That's the thing. Like,
I know.
You're not. And they also but like they started earlier. I think the first game was 11 o'clock in the NBA. And they had their games going, and you didn't have an 8 o'clock tip off.
What
last
time
night,
was
I don't
their
believe.
last game in the NBA?
I
That
don't
would have
think
been
it was.
Suns T Wolves.
Yeah, and I don't think that was like an 8 o'clock tip off.
But and it goes to who was doing the games: ESPN, TNT.
That's a good point. I guess
that's what we have to remember, and it's easy to forget that. And I'm reminding myself that this postseason too is
Well-
like their broadcasting. TNT, ESPN is directly affecting the times of the NHL broadcast.
But there would have been ABC games yesterday for
But that's ESPN
basket.
still.
I know, but
That's the same crew.
you're talking with the production crew then?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, they've got to have more than a couple.
they have a
productions
bunch.
crew.
Obviously, they have
Because you'd have then, if
But-
the NBA's on ABC, not on ESPN, you'd have the opening on ESPN, I
Right.
guess. I'd have to look at that a little
Yeah.
bit. I just feel like the NHL might be better off not doing
I agree.
one game at a time and try putting a couple games on a day like a Sunday where you could then have more eyes. Here's our product. Here's McDavid. Like, I get why it's 8 o'clock starts, 8:30 starts every other day. I get why Friday was an 8:30 start in LA. I know we hate that here.
Yeah.
But I get it because you have the other games weekday. You can't start games earlier. But on a day where most people don't work and you could start games earlier, I would just make sure you put as many games as you can in front of as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And hopefully grow it that way.
And I like your idea too, because once the first game ends, then you can flip to the last,
The ending.
whatever, 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes of the third period of the other game and catch the, really the most important part of the game in theory and see it finish. So, yeah, I like your idea a lot. But, I mean,
broadcast
there's
makes a great point.
so many dynamics that go into it that, who knows?
And that's why I'm so just intrigued for tomorrow. Because like it's there for the NHL. I don't know who's got Stars. I think ESPN's got Stars Golden Knights. I think or is it TNT? What does this tell me?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I'm just trying to see if it'll show. It's not showing me on here.
I saw a lot of
'Cause-
TNT over the
Well,
weekend,
it's just
though.
like
I saw a lot of.
you could have it's staggered to a degree where you don't have to wait. Like
I agree.
Oilers game, it could start at 7:30 tomorrow or Wednesday. I feel like with the other game in Dallas, if there's no Panthers Lightning, if there's Panthers Lightning, that changes everything.
it does change
But if there's only 2 games, I think you got to find a way that even if the game in Dallas starts a little, or like the NBA actually last Friday, I think it was. I was surprised by this. Pacers Bucks started 3:30 our time on the Friday.
Really?
I know. I got the alert from TSN going the game's starting, and I'm like, why the hell's it starting right now? That's early.
Wow.
And I don't know.
How about that
you tell
series?
Dallas people to suck it up, and you start that game a little earlier out there, so that that game starts, and then the Oilers gets going. And you have a nice doubleheader.
It's like they're prioritizing the TV crowd over the local home crowd. That because
I
that's
think you
obviously
gotta do that.
interfering with their work. They got to leave work early or whatever if they can and stuff to
We've
get
had
to the
6
game.
o'clock Wednesday night starts here in Edmonton.
Couple, yeah.
Yeah, those are the national
Yes.
games. Yeah.
So you could tell Dallas people that you got to show up at 6 o'clock.
I like that.
That's a
And then-
5 o'clock Edmonton.
I-
Oilers game starts 7:30. Boom.
I'm an early riser, and I
that.
tell you what, when that game on Wednesday, I was at the game, and when it went to overtime, I'm like, oh my god, this cannot go on very long because I don't know how I'm going to survive staying up any later than
The
this.
hockey gods
Well, it's
heard you.
worse.
Yeah,
Because
well,
everyone gets to just watch the game and then it's over.
Yeah.
And then they go, I go to bed, I go party, whatever. That's when Tommy starts work.
exactly.
and he's got a minimum hour after that.
And then,
Yeah.
but hey, a big following of listeners and stuff like that are up too. I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I'm getting old. I can't stay up that late anymore.
I've noticed like the viewership, and I'm sure the listenership was really strong last night too. But you see the numbers just when you're flipping through the nasty chat on YouTube. But the numbers viewer wise live were really good. And but around midnight, I noticed is like when
Started
people
petering.
start to say goodnight,
That's
and then you
enough,
see
yeah.
people saying goodnight to each other on the nasty chat. So that's interesting to learn because I didn't know. Like when we were doing it on 1260, you're just assuming, right? Like you could see the trickle of a text coming in, and then it would slow down at a certain point. And then that's when was your cue to be like, okay, we can wind
Wrap
it
this
down.
up, yeah.
But
Yeah, the text line was our indication.
Yeah.
Because of the radio software to do ratings, you could go by minute. You could minute by minute seeing how many listeners you have. But it's so flawed that there'd be days where it'd be like, we have no one listening. I'm like, that's impossible because we have people texting in this day. Like,
Yeah.
unless these people are not listening and just texting to us, we have a listener. Like,
Yeah.
you can't tell me we have none. So that's how flawed that system was.
Yeah.
So for us, we always had it was always gauged by the text line. And it'd be
That's
like,
right.
it would be a holiday Monday and you know it's a holiday Monday because there's fewer text rolling in. You're like, hey, lower listenership today. I remember doing an Elks. I was telling Trev this yesterday. It was out in Winnipeg, like first game of the season. They had the 2 lightning strikes and they had the 2 delays.
oh yeah,
And then the CFL's changed rules.
That
then.
was a crazy game.
Me and Nanso, I think our post game started like 12:40 that night.
That was
and I remember I
such a-
stared and been like, I don't know if anyone's listening, but we've got a post game show. And we got a bunch of texts
Wow.
going, I'm here. I was like, okay, well, I actually could do a show here.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was gonna go with Hernan and just like do like a quick 30 minutes, get in and out,
Bada
and be
bing,
like,
bada boom.
it happens.
Yeah.
We did it, but no one's listening. But we have people texting in, and we had to do a full post game, and I was like, that is great.
Wow.
I do have a
Yeah.
dream for hockey, and you're gonna hate me for saying this.
What?
But I hope I'm working it if this happens.
you've got that shit-eating grin
Well,
on your face right now.
as Zach
I'm
left-
worried for you right
Thank
now.
you.
As
I'm
Zach
worried for
left
myself,
on when did I do Wednesday last week? I think it was. I did pre and post with you.
Yes.
I joked with him like, if it goes to overtime, I wouldn't mind a historically long overtime, so that we have like. So when we do post game, we sit there and like, well, it's only 30 minutes left until the morning show. Let's take this live straight to the morning show type
Oh
thing.
my God.
You
I
are
would
the
love
devil.
to do one of those where it's
Matthew.
like we have a 5 overtime. And then we still have to do post game, and then we do it, and then naturally Eric and
Just roll
Dusty
into
roll
it.
in,
Oh my
and then we just
God.
roll right into the morning show and go, we did it.
Wow.
You're not in favor of that one, I'm assuming.
Well, funny you bring that up because I was talking to Adam, one of the managers at Hudson's, and he's like, so, like, what happens if this goes a couple of overtimes?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, there's still going to be a post-game show. He's like, well, we're not really going anywhere, so we're usually here till 3. I was like, well, I hope that doesn't happen. I'm like, if worse comes to worse, I'll just book it to the station or whatever.
Yeah, like I was thinking about that
Yeah.
when it went to overtime.
Yeah.
Because we did it at Alibi Pub with Dino.
Right.
And that was a concern I always had, was there was an cup. I think one went to double, or maybe it was just one. And I was sitting there like, bars do close at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we do? Luckily for us, Wested, you could just drive here.
Yeah, exactly.
White, you could just go home.
That's true.
Like they're close.
Yeah.
That you could just go and do it from there.
White
So
Avs, like,
options.
you know what? Without traffic, like I was home in 5 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just down a Saskatchewan Drive. Boom. And
It's nice driving
right
White
to
Ave.
Jasper Ave. Yeah, it's
I haven't
it's
been on there for
very
so long.
convenient.
You were probably ready for a pillow after.
I slept very
long
well
night.
last
Yeah,
night,
I'm
Murray.
sure you did.
Very well, yep.
The tequila shot probably helped with that.
It was okay. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, I probably did.
I do like tequila.
But, like-
I don't have issues with tequila.
No.
I've never gotten like I think most people that say I don't like tequila had that one night too much, and
Yeah.
now it's like forever. I can't do tequila. I have not had that night with tequila.
But you have a good tequila. Like I used to have a lot of trouble with tequila.
Yeah.
And then you have like that one good tequila, and you're like, you know what?
It's good.
It's actually not bad. And then so it's, I don't know, build up a tolerance or whatever. But like some people hate Sambuca. I love Sambuca.
Well, black licorice. Oh, do you like black licorice?
No,
then?
I hate black
Well,
licorice.
it's the
but
same.
But it's
different.
It comes
you
from
think?
like
It does feel
and I
different.
think Greeks have ouzo. There's a drink called ouzo. It's
Yeah.
very much like Sambuca. But like at all our family functions, Christmas and holidays and birthday parties
Grappa?
and stuff.
You ever had
Oh
grappa?
yeah, my no he made grappa. It was nasty stuff.
I like
man.
grappa.
But you'd always have a bottle or two of Sambuca, and it was just you'd have
You were a veteran drinker, Tommy.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure, yes, I've had a few. What was I gonna say? I had something about the late night thing.
Well, Jocelyn texts in 780-218-9999 Paris Jewelers inbox. They could have started earlier in the day, 11 a.m., and play them all day. I enjoy watching as many of the games as possible. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to decide between two good games. So that's like against my idea of having two at the same time. But that's where I think if you stagger 30 minutes apart, you could watch one game. When that goes to intermission, you're going to get a good chunk of the other game, I feel like. I don't
Yeah,
think there'll be as much of an...
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But there is also that you could have just started everything a bit earlier. I think the one concern that the NHL would have had, though, for yesterday is there was only one Eastern game. So, because it was in Colorado, it was in Nashville, it was in LA, and it was in Washington.
Well, odd that
So
the Washington game was the third game. Normally that would be the first game.
But so the Colorado game was 12:30, I think, our time. So 12:30. You can't play that one earlier than 12.
Yeah,
Nashville, if you start at 11, that's a 12 o'clock dead on. So maybe you could have got away with Nashville.
yeah,
But did they play Friday?
yes,
Although they both played Friday, I
yes.
think. Oilers Kings you couldn't play earlier, like if 11 wise. So like you could have done the Eastern and then staggered the rest, I guess. But then broadcast, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
If you're the NHL, you might want Caps Rangers because it has the New York market a little in the afternoon, closer to the night, because you don't want to bury the Rangers market or the New York market. So I get all that. So the NHL's in a tough spot, but maybe try to find different ways to. You could have started yesterday even at 8, or when you say it starts. That 20 minutes would have made a world of a difference
it
for
makes
people, I
a
think.
difference.
If you're saying 8:30 and you started right at 8:30, even 8:37,
Yeah.
I think it'd just be a lot better.
The first period ended at like 9:50.
Yeah.
Well, when you say a game is at 8:30, why is it 8:50? Just why can
Well,
you not do the national anthems a little bit early? And it's 8:30. The puck is dropping at 8:30.
That's what soccer does.
Well, I'll flip it to like basketball also has this issue, but there's also no consistency of when it starts.
Yeah.
Oilers will play a Wednesday or Thursday night during the regular season, 7 o'clock. It's 7:07 or 7:08.
It's always 7:08.
7:08.
It's
Okay.
08.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a 30, it's 38.
But then
when it starts.
Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, it's closer to 8:20.
Yeah.
Last night it's 8:52 or 8:50 puck drop. Game 2 was like an 8:17 puck drop.
8:7, yeah.
Because then game 1 was 8:22.
Yeah.
And like there's not even a regular, like baseball at the very least will be like it's 7:07 first pitch.
Yeah.
Game 7, but 7:07 first pitch. Soccer, it's 12 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. Football, NFL, 11 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock.
That's kickoff.
Exactly.
CFL is even, they say 7, it's 7:07. Like they're,
Yep.
you could then figure out the pattern.
Right.
The NHL's all over the place.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So at least at least if you're going to say it's 8:30, be consistent with then, okay, how many minutes afterwards do I have to realize? Is it 7? Is it 10? Is it 20? Make it standard. And then you won't have these complaints.
Yeah. So, on the same idea of late games, the NFL draft round 1 was on Thursday night.
Yep.
Started at
6.
six, but the first pick was made at about 6:20 our time, which is 8:20 Eastern. It ended around 11, maybe 10 after 11 our time. That's 10 after 1
wasn't that
in the
long.
morning. Yeah, it was
just
just
9 o'clock.
No,
No, it was long.
it was
went
maybe
long.
just before.
It was just after
before
9 that
11.
the first round ended.
No, it wasn't that.
I think
early.
it was later than
It was
that.
way later than that.
Because I turned it off at like
Look at it this way: you get 10 minutes to make your
10:30,
pick.
and I'm like,
32
they still have
teams.
picks to go.
That's 320
Who was the
minutes.
32nd pick?
That was
NFL draft
was it San
2024.
Oh, they traded up.
No, they traded
Oh, right.
it. It was Xavier Leggett. Let's
So-
see when people tweeted that.
So,
like how
but you
you're
think of like at
pinpointing
whatever
this.
time it's midnight,
late.
it's 1 o'clock or whatever it is in the morning. You think, why are they doing that? Why could that? Why I don't know.
Well,
It
it's
doesn't
the
make any
NBA
sense to me.
finals will get going, and that kickoff or tip off is 6 our time, which is 8 out there. So 8 whatever. NFL primetime games started at 8:20.
Yeah. So Cowboys fan. So Cowboys are picking 24.
So you're waiting.
So I'm waiting and waiting. I mean, I'm ready for bed. I'm like, okay, hurry up and get to the pick. And then they freaking traded down to like 28 or 29, and I'm like, oh my god. So
9:51.
9:51.
The draft ended.
Okay, so
Eastern.
Our time.
no,
Our time. Oh,
So basically midnight then. So
Eastern. Yeah, okay.
midnight Eastern. I think that's crazy. Doesn't make any sense.
on a Thursday in downtown Detroit.
Which had 150,000 people.
That was great. It looked awesome, by the way.
Yeah, but
it really did.
Why
look
did
cool.
150,000 people go to Detroit? Like that's
Yeah.
why. Like, but this is, I think, to your question, is it's the NFL and they could do whatever the hell they wanted.
Yep.
Well, why
If
don't
they wanted to do the NFL draft at midnight, it starts. They would have massive TV audience of people watching from midnight to 4 a.m.
Fair, because
Yeah,
I
they
stayed
would.
up late to see my team's pick.
Like 150,000 people. Like that's not all Detroit. That's people coming from all over to come watch it. They're going to Green Bay next year, and I'm going like, how are you going to have 150,000 people in Green Bay?
There's only 150,000 people in Green
Right, like
Bay.
it's just it's insane, but it's the NFL could do whatever the hell the NFL wants.
I guess, but and they're saying that the lineup of teams that are bidding on trying to get the NFL draft is massive because teams want it because it's such a big deal
Yeah.
and great for their city, great for the economy of their city, and things like that.
150,000
So
people, like
yeah,
I don't know, like yeah, that's
They've reshaped the draft, like how to do it. Because now we're going to see in the NHL, they're going to do it at the Sphere this year. And then after that, they're going to go all the same way the NFL does it. But you could still make it a big event, which is cool. Like that stage / tent thing that they have is massive.
Do you think the NHL could though accomplish that?
Not
I
to
don't
that
think
scale.
like it's. How many people could you get in an NHL draft outside? Like,
Whatever-
if they did,
whatever
Like, well, I'm
the-
just intrigued. Like I don't. The
20,000.
NBA couldn't do that.
No.
Basketball or baseball absolutely can't do that. Like I don't know what the number would be, but to your point, like I don't mind the decentralization of the NHL draft because I think you could. What all the teams also do is they have their own little draft parties.
Yeah.
And you could bring out the player the next day and introduce them to your fans if you want.
Like
in
the
your
NFL
local
does.
market. Like
They fly them
the
down.
next day after
Yeah.
the first round went Friday, there was press conferences across NFL cities with the first round pick there talking to the media.
Yeah.
Do you think you need 10 minutes though to make a pick? I mean, because you have your draft board, and I mean, sure, teams are maybe talking about a trade up or a trade down or things like that, but 10 minutes—that's 320 minutes to have the round. Like, can you not do it 6 minutes?
No.
no,
No.
No.
Here's why I
Oh.
think, especially in the first rounds, I get it for like the first like 3 picks. The first pick, you've had months to figure it out.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like it should be like the draft starting, Chicago, get up here and make your pick. You have no more time. Like you've
Exactly.
had months. But you'd never know how a draft is going to progress. You don't know how trades are going to happen. And you may have a board, you may have players you like. You might start losing players you weren't expecting early. You might have players sliding that you weren't expecting. And I think to have the amount of people and how seismic your franchise will be from a first round pick, I think 10 minutes for like that 15th, 16th, 17th overall pick after everything's going, I think it's fair to sit there and go, like the pick ahead of us. Damn, they took the guy we were going for. Is there a way we can
Look
still
on
make
your
a trade?
board. There's the next guy.
But maybe can we trade back quickly? Can we grab a second round pick because a team wants to jump in to execute that call? I get the first round being 10 minutes.
I
I'm
laughed.
sympathetic.
What's a nasty chat saying here?
I
find
laughed
out.
when they were showing the war rooms. I can't remember which team it was. I feel like it was Pittsburgh, but they made their pick, right? And it was when Pittsburgh was like a mid, or was it?
Yeah, they were middle.
Yeah. Anyway, they're showing their war room, and guys are like high-fiving each other and like shaking hands.
Yeah.
And,
I
like,
love that after picks.
bro. I'm like, what? What do you guys do?
It's like mission accomplished or something
You
after a
did it.
NASA mission after
Yeah.
one pick. Yeah, good job. And they're high. We did it.
I was like, okay.
Great job, team.
I just thought I saw them do that. I was like, okay, this is funny but weird.
So a couple years later, when a guy turns out to be a bust, they go back and remember we were all high fiving. Maybe we should, we screwed that up.
Nah, whoops.
That's the thing of all the QBs drafted this year. There's
Oh,
quite a bit
boy.
in the first round.
How about Atlanta?
6 quarterbacks in the first round. How many of those
Two?
are going to be a bust?
I'm like 2 might be good. I think historically, as we look at it, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
There might be that odd draft year. Like there's those where 4 or 5 will be really good. There's some where none will be good. So I think that like we could, if we average it out, only 2 or 3 are actually going to be impact NFL players, and that's just stunning.
Well, you look at Caleb Williams' numbers that he put up in USC. He gets picked number 1 overall.
Yeah.
His receivers that he was throwing to were seniors, didn't get drafted. So he was putting up great numbers throwing to guys that aren't very good. Now he goes to Chicago Bears with those 2 receivers that he's going to be throwing to. Oh boy, he could have one of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've seen in a long time.
I'd be pissed if I was Justin Fields. Firstly,
Yeah.
going, where was this for me?
Yeah.
But also, I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. Not. I didn't like what I saw from him. There's just I don't think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I will go with
Time
that
will
one.
tell for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't think he like. The USC babied him a little too much, even where there was a couple big losses this year USC had, and he didn't speak to the media. And it's like I get college kids and all that, but I'm sorry, you're now the number 1 overall pick, the Chicago Bears. There's no hiding from the media in Chicago. You have a bad game in Week 4 against the Green Bay Packers,
You gotta
and the
talk.
media wants to talk to you. You got to talk, and that's kind of what you have to do in college to prepare for that. Where if you want to be the number 1 overall pick, you want to be the face of an NFL franchise. You got to start learning that in college, and I get you're just a kid at that point, but now you're not anymore. You're in the National Football League making a big money, and you are the guy.
Yeah.
And the fact that like that didn't happen in college just this past season, like I'd understand if it was his first year or something. To me, that's where I'm just I like poor games with USC. Poor season. Now you could put a lot of that on the defense as well. That Lincoln Riley never has a good defense, but also then just those extra things. I question whether he'll be able to handle being an NFL QB.
And I hear you because like I don't think he has a head on his shoulders at all. I think he's a prima donna and thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. And boy, if you're going to be your quarterback, you got to be a leader of your team. And I'm not sure he has that in him either. So, the jury's out for
Are
sure.
you describing Kyler Murray right now? Because I'm getting some nasty deja vu.
Well, Kyler Murray, former Oklahoma Sooner, Williams was also an Oklahoma Sooner, and he bailed on Oklahoma and followed the coach out to USC.
Lincoln Riley, I think, is the first coach to have 3 number 1 overall pick quarterbacks that he's coached.
Yeah. Well, Oklahoma had 3 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks in a row, didn't he? 3 years in a row?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield.
Right. Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, and then one more.
Number 1 overall?
No,
Or no, Heisman.
Heisman winner.
Well, Jalen Hurts, I believe, was a
Right.
Heisman, but not with Oklahoma. But he went to go play for Oklahoma.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
have
think
to
he was the
look that
Heisman
up.
that year. Did he win Heisman? Maybe Jalen Hurts did win
maybe.
Heisman.
You.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
I think you're
Google
right.
would have to tell us that, but
Google's our
I think because I'm pretty sure it was 3 in a row, and
I know that sounds about right.
and then they didn't win any national championships. So
Partly because Lincoln Riley, just as great as a coach he is, he can't build defenses. His defenses are trash.
Texts are coming just to wrap up.
Before you do that, this is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. There's always someone looking to ride the next wave. They're here for the ones who make their own White Claw. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. Let's jump into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999.
That was smooth, like a
I've
wave.
done this here a couple
like
I
a
was
times.
going to
wave,
say,
yeah.
it's not your first rodeo, eh?
Ray says Williams will be a cancer to any franchise.
I agree
Complete
with that.
prima donna. And then this one says, why did the Vikings just move up 1 pick to make the McCarthy pick? Why didn't they just call and ask if the Jets were taking them? LOL.
'cause
Or
they
give
got
them some
played.
kind of promise.
They got played, is
They
what
got
happened
played.
there.
Well, like if you're the Jets, why would you just give a promise we're not taking them? The reason is
Totally
you're
mess
just
with them.
completely worried that someone else is going to
Gonna
trade.
Yeah.
exactly.
And sometimes if you truly believe that that's going to be your guy, is giving up those extra picks going to be worth it down the line where you're like, we got our guy?
Yeah, I think the Jets play them. The Jets call them and say, "Hey, there's teams that are calling us and offering us stuff to move up here." And so, I mean, what they get, a fourth and a fifth? I mean,
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Well, Sean Payton also, who was it that he said he was messing with teams.
Sean Payton was for SUGs?
Well, he was on he at a press conference trying to see. Yeah, he admitted he baited Minnesota, forcing them to trade up for McCarthy at his press conference. So that might have been one that, like,
there you
the
go.
Broncos ultimately they got their guy, but they apparently through channels or whatever were making it seem like they wanted McCarthy. Maybe they were going to trade up to get him from the Jets, and then it forced Vikings to go do it. So they forced the Vikings' hand to go make a trade, force them to go get McCarthy. They still get their guy and mess with another team.
Yeah.
So that stuff happens too. So for the Vikings, like, you have to value, okay, are the Broncos really interested or not?
Yeah.
And if they are, if you believe that they're interested, you got to go make the trade to go make sure you get your guy. Because then the Jets can call the other team and make the trade that way.
Yeah.
There's going to be some interesting quarterback battles in training camp. I feel like it's interesting the way teams are stacking up. They're bringing in these vets and then drafting all these younger guys. I don't know. I love the drama that the NFL is creating. They couldn't script it any better. Great writers.
And we got the CFL draft tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Which I wish there was more attention all year given on the prospects, because I have no idea who's the top player. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Where it's going to go. Elks have the number 1 overall pick.
And he will be on the show.
We will have a number
Wednesday.
1 overall pick. Whoever they draft, they'll be on part of the Hangout for part of Wednesday's show.
Excellent.
Nice.
But the Elks hold the number 1 pick tomorrow. So we'll see. Like, the funny thing is, the CFL draft really matters.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it impacts teams. The Canadian content, it really can. That's how you could win Grey Cups, is literally through the CFL draft.
Canadian,
but no one cares almost because there's not enough attention drawn to it.
I think you have to find it, and the league is trying to, as best as it can, to put it out there. Like, you look at the combine stuff, the social media posts, and this and that. But they are doing a good job production-wise, trying to get it out there for people. But there's an onslaught of other stuff more important than the CFL draft happening, a la NHL playoffs and
It's
NBA
one where,
playoffs.
like, I feel like the CFL, what they need to do is all year work in connection with TSN if you have to, and each week put out something on
show.
the prospects. So whether it's a 10-minute highlight reel of here's the latest top prospects, for the CFL draft, boom, 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 and have Dwayne Ford update a mock draft, or like, here's my top 10 every week or something.
Yeah.
Have that go in the production of TSN so people all year know potential players, so that as we get here, we can be like, oh, well, the Elks could pick player A, B, C, D.
Yeah, it's kind of out there if you search for it.
But that's the thing, you have to. But we didn't have to search for Caleb Williams.
No, absolutely
We
not.
knew
in our
Caleb Williams,
face, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
NFL Live every morning or afternoon, yeah.
who are the Elks going to take? I feel like I read somewhere about a linebacker.
yeah, I gotta look because
that could come
I'll
in
also
and
go.
start.
Coolbet's got odds on the CFL draft.
Excellent.
When I
Really?
saw that yesterday, I was like, "Geez, CFL draft betting. I might
Let's
just
go.
have to do that because why not?"
Supposedly there's a guy that's head and shoulders above everyone else, but he's probably not going to go till 6 or 7 or something because he was going to get drafted in the NFL. But I haven't
Well,
even heard
that's-
if he did get drafted in the NFL.
That's the problem also the CFL has, and it's why you can't change the CFL draft as well, is because
You have to see what happens at the
See
NFL
what
if
draft.
somebody gets drafted there, you're going
Well-
to use a high pick for a player that you're not going to get this year.
Right, or guys that sign. How many Canadian players got signed as
After the
undrafted
draft,
free
yeah.
agents? Yeah,
Joel Dublanco is the projected favorite.
Wasn't he on with the Morning Show Boys last week?
And they a couple weeks ago,
2 weeks
and
ago,
they
yeah.
really liked him.
what position does he play?
He's linebacker.
That's okay. That's the guy.
And he has a
reading
Canadian
all.
connection, right?
He's Canadian citizenship
Yes.
through his father, who was born in Edmonton.
Yes.
He was unselected in 2022 NFL draft before signing with the Saints as a priority free agent. He was waived by the team, joined the Seahawks for training camp, but was cut upon his conclusion. Spent some time in the USFL with Philadelphia. He's from University of Cincinnati. He's 26.
Oh,
Whoa.
Wow. Didn't know that.
was that COVID affected or injury?
Played 5 seasons at University of Cincinnati, redshirted in 2016. So then, I'm assuming he doesn't, 2016 doesn't count.
Yeah.
So 17, 18, 19, then you're getting into the COVID years, so he could have played a little longer if you want.
Right.
And then, just bouncing around a little bit at the NFL the last few years.
And he's still draft eligible.
Well, and that's you want to know
That
something
is
why
crazy.
that's great for the Elks. That's a guy that could be
You slide right
you
in.
can
Well,
play
he's
right
gonna
away.
play
Yeah.
Like there's no hesitation of that one. You could put him in right then and there.
Interesting.
So yeah, that gets going tomorrow. Good thing there's no Oiler game tomorrow. We could all focus on the
we
CFL
go.
draft. Nick Mardner is second best for first overall pick at plus 435. Kevin Mattel plus 1200.
There you go.
Again, like
And these are guys
It's-
that I don't think any. No, I haven't heard any of these guys.
and that's the issue I have
Yeah,
with the CFL.
exactly,
But
yeah.
I also do love the CFL draft, and I'm one of those people that will always have it on. Tomorrow I will have it on.
I will have
I'll
it
watch
on
it
as well.
and I'll pay attention.
And what
and-
time is it on?
Usually it's like 6.
Yeah, they do a good production. They've juiced it up a little bit, like all things considered.
My favorite part of the CFL draft too, and I hope it never changes because it's the CFL draft. Like I love this. Is Randy having to make the pick, and there's
Yeah.
always some like awkward cue from Farhan or whatever throwing to him, and
Yeah.
he's standing there and he's not ready or something, and it just makes me smile because I'm like, this is the CFL,
Yeah.
and this is what I love about the CFL. And please never change. Like you go from the NFL draft, this massive production with in Detroit, all this, and then you just go to the TSN studio and there's the boys, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
our
you get
week.
Chris Jones on a Zoom call
Yes.
and he's like this, you give me now? You got me? And then it's just his ear that you can see on the screen.
You are so good at mimicking other people's
Oh,
voices, man.
thank you. I've done one of those calls with him a couple seasons ago. He's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, why am I staring at his ear? And then Matt Dunnigan was just like, Chris, you good? And I'm like, oh my God, where am I? This is amazing.
6 o'clock tomorrow on TSN if you want the CFL draft. Let's get to our Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value, a great choice for any golf round this season. Book your tee time right now visiting theranchgolf.com. Let's get into that game yesterday for the Edmonton Oilers. A game where, fair to say that they weren't the best team, but they found a way to steal a game. And that's not something historically we've really said about the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs, I don't feel like.
Very fair. Very fair. The impressive thing was, and I said it last night on the post-game show, it reminded me of when the Oilers tried different ways of attacking Colorado in the Western Conference Final in 2022, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, Oilers would do a tweak here, Colorado would adjust. Okay, you want to play that way? Well, we'll beat you at that. And kudos to the Kings because they played their butts off, desperate hockey. They were all over the Oilers, didn't give up much. Edmonton held the fort, protected the house, and waited and waited and waited. And that's something we've never really said about the Edmonton Oilers, especially this iteration of the Oilers. They don't wait and wait and wait, play patient, and then take their one opportunity and pounce. That's never been their MO. And they did that last night. They adapted on the fly. A lot of people were impressed by that style of game. I was one of them. We had one or two people being like, guys, they need more shots. They couldn't dictate the pace. That game was being brought to them, and they weathered the storm. That's a good sign to me. Now, do I think that they could win a chunk of games that way? Maybe not. But I think at some point they got to turn the tide and dictate the pace. Belzy wanted to see them on the pregame show. He wanted to see them take the pace, dictate the game to LA. That didn't happen at all. It didn't happen at all. And they still managed to hold the fort and weather it and did a good job. And they got a couple of good saves from Skinner. And then the other thing on top of all that, it was Hontorio Momes sent it in because we were so busy. He goes, boys, sport logic. Because Belzy and I were talking about it. It's like, even though LA outshot Edmonton 33-13, we try to remember like which high danger chances the Kings had. We counted 4. And it was me and Belzy putting it together. It was like this one. We've got 4. And then for the Oilers, we had I think 4 as well. And then Hontorio Momes texted in. He goes, guys, Sport Logic has it 7-4 in favor of the
7-4
Oilers.
is what
Yeah,
the
Jeffy
number I
texted
heard,
in
yeah.
saying it wasn't a stolen game. The Oilers actually outchanced the Kings.
Yeah.
Kings just had a ton of pot shots from outside. It didn't ever feel like it was at risk last night.
Exactly.
There was just moments where like the Kings, I texted my brother like in the second period. I'm like, the Kings just aren't going to do it tonight. It just didn't feel like their night to me. That they had their chances, but they like fanned on it or something. There was just slight errors or a missed pass. I'm like, that's where it didn't feel like it was perfect. And while the chances, Oilers outchanced them.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't take into account that the Kings actually had a lot of other moments where they could have had something, but they just were a slight off.
Yeah.
And that's where it was just the Oilers' end. And Skinner, I don't think they were, even if the Kings had a few more chances, I don't think anything was getting past Skinner last night.
He was dialed in.
He was completely dialed in, and he played really well. And now I look at this Kings team, and 2 straight years they get knocked up by the Oilers. They come out, they play. Can they play a better game than they did yesterday?
That was their A game.
And so now,
for sure.
You're sitting in that locker room after that game, and you're going, what do we have to do to beat this team? I think they're completely demoralized coming to Game 5.
They're not going to beat this team.
Well, and that's you finally play this game where you should have tied this series up coming back to Edmonton, and you're sitting there going, we're down 3-1. How are we going to beat this team? And I think we're going to see a game on Wednesday where the Oilers are going to just dominate because I don't think the Kings have it in them.
Yeah. A couple fascinating things for me is this weekend, the Vancouver Canucks win a game with 12 shots on net.
Yes.
2 days later, Oilers win a game with 13 shots on net. I mean, that's almost unheard of to win hockey games with that few of shots.
Right.
But the thing that I would think about this is those are the type of games that I think historically over the past few years, the Oilers would find a way to lose. Mm-hmm. And they got it through. So they got this job done. And so hats off to Stu, obviously. But I think it shows a little bit of a maturation of the team and what's going on within the dressing room to get a win in a game like that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I would say is a 7-game series, nothing is linear.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
The ebbs and flows of what goes on in a 7-game series, even within a game of a 7-game series, it can change so quickly and so many times. And so when you look at the different games that have already been played, they're not really similar games.
No.
And that's just the way it goes. And for them to be able to be up 3-1, they should be up 3-1. They probably should be up 4-0. If the top 2 lines in Game 2 would have actually played playoff hockey and with some intensity, they would have swept this series, but LA had a great game that game. Oilers didn't have a great game, had some bad puck luck, and it still went to overtime. Yeah. So the Oilers are simply a better team. They're going to get this series done, hopefully in Game 5, and move on to another series that should be pretty easily winnable, I think, against Vancouver. So.
Well, we'll get to that right away here. I agree with that. But yeah, as I say, the Kings are demoralized coming to this. I also think the Oilers will come and be like, let's get this done. We don't want to fly back to LA.
No.
We don't want to make that flight there and back.
No.
Let's just finish this off, get the rest. See you next week. We won't be playing this weekend. We'll start sometime next week, round 2. Let's take this rest.
If everyone wraps up quick, then what happens? It could.
What do we got? Jets, Avs. Yeah, that series could be done soon.
Yeah. It's
Canucks,
3-1.
Preds could be done soon. You got this series. Golden Knights, Stars go a little bit.
I think that one's going to go deep.
Could, for sure.
I think it will.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe the weekend they could get it going.
Dallas played really good in Game 3. Really good.
It still went to overtime, though.
I know.
So, yeah.
Good. Well, and that's a testament to Vegas now.
Great goaltending out of Vegas.
Logan Thompson, hell of a game. My goodness, some great saves.
I think because a lot of series could be done by maybe Thursday.
Jets get a win in Game 5 at home? You think?
They seem done.
Yeah, I think they seem done. Always blows me away. I mean, Colorado was a damn good team, but the Jets their roster. They had a good roster.
What did you say?
It's a DNA thing to me. There's certain teams in sports that I just look at and there's a DNA of winning and losing. And I go back to in soccer, Real Madrid has a DNA to win Champions League. They just have it. When they get into Champions League, they could have a year where they're a little off in Spain, but they'll be there in Champions League. They will make waves in Champions League. They just find a way to do it. NCAA, there's just schools that have a DNA to win, or to me, Arizona doesn't have that DNA. They lose early usually. Jets just have them, and the Canucks to me are the two that don't have the DNA to ultimately win it. I don't think in their history, the Jets, they had to go up against the Oilers the 80s. I get that.
Yeah.
They now have to go up against a lot of really good teams too. But there's something about that organization that I'll never bet on them to win because I haven't seen it.
Is it Mark Scheifele?
No,
Is it Nikolai Ehlers?
It's the city. I don't know. It's the city largely. I don't know. Just that franchise.
They did win an AFCO Cup.
And I don't buy into them that there's nothing really scientific behind that.
Murray's right, though. They have a really solid roster.
Great
goaltender. That whole side. I still go back to this. Las Vegas losing that last game of the regular season. Just unbelievably lucky break for the Edmonton Oilers, in my opinion. Because for me, as I predicted last week, that Oilers would sweep the Kings, which they didn't, but that's how easy I think the series was going to be for the Oilers against the Kings. I would have had it a coin flip between the Oilers and Vegas. And for them to avoid Vegas because Vegas blew a game against a crappy team.
And LA came back to win that game against Chicago after blowing a 3-1 lead.
I know.
That was
so
wild.
It was wild finish where it really shouldn't have been. And I mean, Vegas going into that side and the Oilers getting what I feel is going to be a pretty easy series again, and then finally getting a matchup against either Dallas or Colorado or Vegas in the conference final is like that's a pretty clean ride for them to get there.
It could happen. Will it? We shall see.
Well, that's why they play the games, man.
Yeah, exactly. But it has been this crazy couple weeks, really. And the Eastern Conference has just been quiet.
It's been what it's
calm waters.
It's been what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, really, I guess Winnipeg getting handled as easily as they have been by Colorado. Well, maybe a little surprising.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see them win Game 5. You know what? Don't go down on home ice.
Yeah,
give a little bit of hope to the fan base. They did sweep the Avs, and it was funny because they stomped the Avs 7-0 in the last meeting of the season. And I saw some people talking about Winnipeg. They have the Avs number. That's the mental game right there. And then I saw others say, "Wait, that's not the playoffs, though. That's not playoff Avs. You're gonna see something different in the playoffs." And sure enough, like Cale Makar yesterday, that goal he scored, cuts across, and then he like tucks it back, pulls it, and goes across his body, blocker side on Hellebuck. I was just like, what a goal. What a goal. And then they have guys like that because it's in their DNA to rise to the occasion.
Colorado's got that DNA.
They have the DNA.
Which is wild, just consider how Game 1 went. Like, Game 1 was so wild.
It was.
And we haven't seen that really
That was
kind of the
super
rest
fun
of the
to
game.
watch.
Yeah.
The Avs somehow just figured it out from there. Just like, hey, well, we can't do that. And
Stop it.
Georgiev,
Yeah.
he's
Great name to
been
say.
solid. So
Yeah.
they're a scary team. But that's why like the Oilers' path is really nice. Because they should beat the Kings. It's not over.
No, it's not.
But they should be getting past them. And then you're going to either get likely Vancouver, which surprises me. Because I thought Nashville might have knocked off the Canucks before the playoff. And then they lose 2 goalies, and you're still losing if you're the Preds. Like, Casey DeSmith, it sounds like, is okay.
Okay.
That, like, it doesn't seem like it's a major issue that he has. So the Oilers would have to face Casey DeSmith.
Who got them twice this year.
Twice?
Yeah.
Was he in one of the games earlier this year?
Yeah, he got that game in Edmonton, the second game of the season.
Okay.
Where he goalied them.
Dusty's favorite thing.
Yeah.
He played well in that last game of the season. Like, I'm not going to dispute that. So Vancouver, I don't think is going to be as easy, but they're not as good of a team without Demko. And the Oilers, like, look, I'd take a Demko-less Canucks, even though they beat the Oilers 4 times this year, any day over the Avs, Stars, Golden Knights, Jets as an opponent.
Did the Vancouver Canucks play the full Edmonton Oilers team this year?
Not well, technically, yeah, they did at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that was when.
Well, no Ekholm, I guess.
Yeah, that was when.
Right.
I mean, McDavid was awful. I mean, different coaching staff. I mean, that you got to throw away the beginning, whatever it was, 12,
start.
15 games of the year for the Oilers, and it was 2 games against Vancouver. Late in the year, McDavid wasn't playing against Canucks. When was the 4th game? I can't remember.
No, that 4th game was that. So there was 3 games. So they played second game of the season.
3 in the first 11 were against Vancouver.
So throw it out the window. They did not play the Edmonton Oilers real hockey club this year, then, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like I'm the one that always will say I don't care about the regular season as much because it's brand new. And to your point, like the Jets, that last game against the Avs rolled them in the regular season.
Yeah.
And hasn't really carried over into this series.
No.
But it also shows me that the Canucks can beat the Oilers, though. Like, this isn't a series that, like, if Casey DeSmith could play all right, they have the players to do it, the Vancouver Canucks, and you shouldn't overlook them entirely.
No, man. Like, that win yesterday was a gutsy win.
They're playing hard for Rick Tocchet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened with that team this year. They've had a nice little turnaround. And I wouldn't completely just dismiss them.
Dismiss them. Good one.
Dismiss them. I know, you know what I'm saying.
Don't dismiss the Canucks.
Get them completely because
That's a good one. We have to use
like
that
dismiss.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeez. Complete. Like, and I'm the guy that's also sitting here saying I'm speaking on both sides of the mouth. I'm saying like the Oilers should be in the conference final. Like, there's no question.
No, it's gonna.
But
be
it's
tough
going to be a tough. Like, it's not going to be as easy of a series as I think maybe some people are
100%.
looking at.
They have to play the games, and the Oilers have to play their game. And if they do, they're going to win
But I would put the Oilers as the favorite going in,
for sure.
even though they lost this. They got swept in this.
Got
series.
swept.
5. It's going to be 5.
Oh, I can't do 5. That's 6.
Yeah, at least
That's 6.
At least
they're gonna get a battle if that series does come to fruition.
The Canucks will take. Oh, jeez, I can't speak. They'll split in Vancouver, at least. They'll split here in Edmonton, at least.
Yeah.
And then I could see the Oilers taking
dismiss
5, 6.
the Canucks.
Don't
Murray.
dismiss them. Well, I'm dismissing the Canucks. I don't like their. I don't like their team against the Oilers. I think the Oilers are going to handle them.
How about this
I
one?
have confidence.
I like this from a Blackhawks fan of all things.
For me or on the national
No, for
championship?
you.
You, you're the confidence from a Blackhawks fan here.
Stampater chiming in via the inbox 780-218-9999. Stampater says, "What did you guys think about the Leafs all yelling at each other on the bench?"
Wow.
Go for it.
I was going to bring the Leafs up too, like, and see what you guys thought of the Leafs. But I mean, the Leafs. You talk about the DNA. The Leafs. Oh my God! Like, I don't know. Like, you look at some of the decisions they make, and like Nylander, signing Nylander, that big. Like, Nylander's a great regular season hockey player, but he's not a guy that's going to help you win a Stanley Cup in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I don't like their roster as a playoff team. I don't think they have any goaltending. It's probably time for a new coach, even though they just signed him to a big extension that kicks in next year. I don't know. I think
He might be gone.
I think he will be gone.
Yeah.
But the Leafs, to me, are just an unmitigated train wreck, and they're making some bad decisions that are setting them up for years of continuing to not be successful with some of the players that they're signing, the makeup of their roster.
It's a lot of comparisons between Oilers and Leafs. The one thing you could say about the Oilers' failures in the playoffs the last few years, if you want to go fully say failures or exits, the players went all out every year. You didn't see that. We always could look back and go, McDavid, Draisaitl, they showed up.
Yes.
You can't say that with the Leafs stars.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and go in their exits these last number of years. Well, at least Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, look, they showed up. It was just they need to go fix this and this.
Yeah.
The Oilers was, okay, McDavid, Draisaitl showed up. They need to go shore up this. They need a little bit better goaltending. They need to do this. But the players were there. And the big mistake that the Leafs did this past year was trying to roll it all back once again. When, like, Dubas is at fault for what's happened in Toronto. Where they are, he's at fault too. But he was right in wanting to make changes this past summer. And that's why he's not there anymore. Is Shanahan wanted to go back with this. And he's like, why? It hasn't been working. You haven't been getting the production. Last summer's when they needed to go, okay, we need one of the core needs to go to fix this team because the core isn't getting it done themselves. Whereas at least in Edmonton, again, as for all those years, you could sit there and go, the main core, like, well, it's really those two. I guess you could throw Nuge in there. Some people may say Nuge hasn't shown up always in the playoffs, but the core is there. It's not their fault entirely. It's the other stuff.
They are pigeonholed a little bit with the Tavares contract because it's a big amount of money. He's not producing at that level anymore. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 more year on that until they can get out from under that, and that'll give them a little more flexibility. But I think the Leafs are in trouble moving forward. I don't like their roster makeup. You go back in time, and to the Oilers' benefit, how would Zach Hyman look in that Toronto Maple Leafs lineup right now over, somebody?
He would look
my
good.
goodness.
Would Zach Hyman be the 50-goal scorer that he is now? Would he have scored,
He's not
36
playing with Connor
last year?
McDavid, so no.
Like,
But
he would
that,
still
it's
be a
just-
very effective player. Would add to the culture.
Right.
He's a top 4 player here at least.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if
Absolutely.
depending where you want to put Nuge and him, that's for the 3 spots.
Depending on the situation,
Yeah.
right? Like, you slide.
There, he's immediately 5.
Right.
in their slot in a sense. So he wouldn't get some of those opportunities unless maybe they slot him up a little higher or something.
He brings his lunch bucket to work every single day and works his butt off, 60 minutes every night. And
Tavares
Toronto
and Marner's
has
both got one more year.
one more year. So that Toronto's screwed for one more year, and then they can remake their roster. But yeah, I don't know. Like they need Zach Hyman's in Toronto to be successful, and they let him walk to the Oilers. And lucky for the Oilers because he's a great player and a key cog in the wheel here, obviously.
Yeah. That's so true. And so I'm thinking about how, okay, if he were to stay with the Leafs, would he have become this? Probably not. He's become a star with the Oilers. Now you go back to Toronto and you look at, like Stampeder brought up, they're yelling at each other. And you're talking about Tavares and Marner having 1 year left each. Marner's the guy throwing his gloves. Marner's the guy getting yelled at by the other guys.
Well, Nylander's saying basically
Don't
this
be a
isn't
baby.
juniors.
Yeah. Like, I think back to what Luke Gazdick said. I think it was on the morning show on our station. He said, I would trade Mitch Marner. I believe it was Gazdick that said that. Now,
It's going to be hard.
seeing all of this, I wonder if, like, the market or Leafs fans are going, well, maybe we get rid of that guy.
Well, he's always been the guy to get rid of.
Right.
Because Nylander had that one contract at one point, and it didn't look like he was going to go. You're not trading Matthews, and you can't trade Tavares.
What if Matthews walks? Because LA is going to make a big play for him.
Right, but that's
Five-
like,
four
that's
or
still
five
quite a few
more
years
years now.
away. How many years is that one?
Yeah, I believe he signed 5.
His new contract kicks in next year.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4 more years.
4 years he signed? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 years. So he's there for a while.
Yeah.
You'd be more concerned, I would think, of, well, if you can't fix this quickly, is he going to say, get me out of here?
Well, that's why he signed 4 years, I think, is because he's still going to be, I think, 29 when that happens. So still young enough that he's going to hit the jackpot one more time. And that gives him the flexibility. Give me a few years to see how this plays out in Toronto. And I can get out and, choose where I want to go and get paid at 29 years old.
But
So,
no move clauses for, has he got a contract still? No. Okay, Nylander, Marner, Tavares, Matthews, all no move clauses.
yeah.
So if you want to trade Marner this summer,
Yeah.
he's got to agree. Like you
Right.
could try to make a deal with Utah,
Right.
and go, we're sending Marner there, but he could say like, screw that, I'm staying
Yeah.
here. And you then can't do anything for next year. Those guys are free agents.
Well, maybe
then-
maybe he's had enough. Maybe he
Well,
wants a change too.
I know, but where I'm going with this is that, like, can the Leafs turn this around quick enough where Matthews would be okay for 2 years dealing with whatever it is? Or is there going to be, like, we've had this conversation with Edmonton with McDavid for a number of years, he's going to sit there and go, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I don't want to go be a middle playoff team. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
And is Brad Treliving the guy to get them there? Is Brendan Shanahan going to be the guy that's going to continue doing this? There's a lot of question marks now around Toronto.
Absolutely, there is.
And I think Elliot Friedman on the broadcast kind of hinted at that it also doesn't seem like, and we saw it on display, that it's a tight-knit group between the core. Edmonton, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Nurse, like they're tight-knit. They always
Yes.
talk about wanting to win together, and they're together, and you could tell how good of friends
They're
they
always
are.
on the road, hanging out together, going for dinners and
You're
stuff. like
not
that.
hearing that from Toronto,
Yeah.
and that's a big problem too.
Well, let's not forget, though, it was just before playoffs started, there was some yelling and screaming on the Oilers bench
Yep.
with a couple of players. So,
But it wasn't the stars. Like
No.
Kane just outside,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
But it wasn't your top guys.
Well,
Like that
and
core
Kane is
group.
showing up. Kane is
Yes,
having
yes,
himself a
yes.
series here. I love it. Physicality and
Creating chances.
getting some offense in
You
there.
pay him for
and-
playoffs, not for the regular season.
Yeah, exactly right. Been
That's-
been a little disappointed with Perry though. He hasn't got as involved
he
as
had a-
maybe.
He had a rough game 4,
Yeah,
for sure.
You
Or pardon me, game 2.
Game 2, and
Yeah.
then 2 penalties in that game. And I was saying to Derek, our superintendent, who I took with me to the game, I said, geez, I need to see some more out of Perry and get him involved. And also, he hits the goalie and gets a penalty. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's maybe not quite what I was looking for, but anyways, at least it was something. But yeah, he was pretty quiet that game for sure.
I'm encouraged by Dylan Holloway.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good to see him showing up, rising to the occasion the way he has. Very good. Well done. Because I thought he might not be a in the starting lineup to get going in this series, but here and that.
He's not coming out now.
Nope, he's played very well. That's very encouraging.
I think he submitted his roster spot for next year and whatnot too. He's an NHL player now, and sometimes that extra time in the minors that he ended up getting just gives him a little extra confidence. Gets the puck on his stick a little more often down there, and just gives him the some power play time and some just to get that confidence up, and then he can bring that back to the NHL and look, okay, I can do this here. So sometime in the minors for some guys, and I think we're probably going to see that with Broberg. I think Broberg can probably be a roster player here next year because he's gaining that confidence down there. We saw him a little bit in that game. He looked okay. He looked better than you think when he did play a little bit.
Yeah, but they didn't dress many guys either, but yeah, he was okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be, in the slot in front of his net where he makes or breaks it in the NHL.
Yeah.
Everything else seems to be all right.
Yeah, he's not going to get any action in here anyways because I think Stetcher's ahead of him on the depth chart, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the fans, you'd hope not, because then it'd be injuries, I guess. And you don't want that to happen. This is the EST Angle presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as live on YouTube. Tom Gazzola, Marie McCourt from the VIP Golf Show, Matt Iwanyk with you here. Portions of this hour of the Hangout brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com, if you're looking for any promotional needs for your business, for an organization, for a team, or just for yourself. Thehiveproductmarketing.com. I just got to quickly slide away from hockey just because I got a text. I need more Knicks talk. Haha. This is coming in from Josh Clausen going top to top. Brunson for MVP. They're looking really good. They look like they're going to take down those 76ers. Then they're going to get, I think it's the Pacers.
Yeah, Pacers beating the Bucks. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Bucks don't have Giannis. And yesterday didn't have Dame as well.
Okay,
so they're dealing with some injuries. Tough, yeah. So the path is opening up. I think we're going to see your Celtics taking on the next Eastern Conference final, which would be something else. Clausen, I'll just throw this out to you. I could also text it to you. Can the Knicks beat the Celtics in a best of 7?
No, they can't.
It'd be tough.
When I have Clausen on the VIP Golf Show to talk about his fascination with Liv, maybe we should time it that series is going to be like 2-0 for the Celtics and have him on, and I can bash him about that too. So that'll be good.
I love that.
You ready for that, Clausen? You're betting locked in again for the VIP Golf Show. Remember that?
That's coming up.
No, it's fun watching the Knicks actually be good. Not going to lie. It's different.
Well,
it's not something
like
I'm
the
used
old
to.
days. Celtics and Knicks and Sixers are good. Miami's good. I mean, that's kind of the teams that from the yesteryear that are all coming
What's
back.
Clausen say? Giggling?
Shut your mouth, McCourt.
Listen, it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth. Just watch what happens in the games, man. My team will do the talking for me.
Knicks in 7 over Celtics. Love the confidence from Josh Clausen.
so funny.
I got to find out. Majo's actually going to be on the Hangout on Thursday. He used to be a Knicks fan, but then I think he went to the Timberwolves. He was annoyed enough with James Dolan that he was tired.
How do you change teams?
Because he was pissed off at the owner and he didn't want to support James Dolan anymore. And I got to see if that's still held on. Usually I'm not in favor of switching teams. His made a lot of sense just with how things went. I got to see if he's still stuck with the Timberwolves or if he's still, the love is rekindled with the Knicks a bit. Timberwolves are really good too. They just swept the Suns, which Kevin Durant and Devin Booker getting swept. Even the Lakers didn't get swept.
That side's going to be amazing because there's 3 really, really, really good teams on that side, and they're going to have to play each other before they get to the Celtics in the finals.
The Lakers in their series against the Nuggets, I have the numbers a little off, but if I recall correctly, have led for like 116 minutes. The Nuggets have led for like 30-some minutes. Lakers are down 3-1. It's ridiculous.
Championship pedigree.
Oh, boy.
Fire Darvin Ham. It's that simple.
With Josh chiming in, I'm going to actually say something negative about the PGA Tour.
Okay, before you do that, he also says, we just need to have a healthy Mitch. That's it. So there's your Knicks talk, Clausen. Hope you're happy. We'll get you in on the Hangout to talk some NBA playoffs.
It'll be the Knicks issue against the Celtics is going to be loft. Loft. Lack of effing talent compared to my Celtics.
Okay, compared to the Celtics, you have to add that because they have talent.
Not compared to my Celtics.
They don't have Julius Randle.
Never mind.
What were we going to say about the PGA?
PGA Tour. Yesterday was the culmination of a team event
Zurich Classic.
on the PGA Tour.
Right.
I didn't know this until after the fact, but Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry both get credited with a PGA Tour victory.
Why not?
It's a team event.
Yeah, but it's a PGA event.
It's a team event. And they both get FedEx Cup points, and Lowry readily admitted in his interview afterwards that Rory carried him. So he gets a victory and he gets FedEx Cup points. When to me, that makes no sense that in a team event you get a PGA Tour victory.
If I'm in the NHL and I score 20 empty net goals, I'm a 20 goal scorer.
Well, okay, NHL is a team game. It's a different.
But that's where I'm okay with it's a team event, and they both if Shane Lowry doesn't make a couple of shots, Rory may have carried him, but Shane Lowry would have made some shots that they don't win without Shane Lowry as well.
Okay, but further to that, what I read was Mr. Sam Snead, who is tied with Tiger Woods for the most ever PGA Tour victories at 82, has 5 victories that came in team events. Tiger Woods has 0.
Well, Tiger should have won some team events.
Wow.
It's that simple to me.
That is not the same. It is absolutely not the same winning a PGA Tour event by yourself on your own against the field as when you're paired up with somebody else and play. It's not the same.
Is this like the equivalent of the loser point in hockey, basically?
I don't think so. Because it's a PGA event, and you just go and you play the rules that are designed by the PGA event, which is here's a team.
And that's
it's the same as
fair.
when we had Dell Match play. It's not a historic stroke play like usual. You're playing one-on-one, and you may not have been the best golfer all week, but you had the best against your opponent. You may have just had weak opponents, and you got to the final and you had one good round, and you won your tournament, and that's a PGA victory.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love the event because I thought that team thing and just shuffles things up a little bit, brings a little fun to the PGA Tour versus the same old every week. But I don't know, I don't get how that gets you a PGA Tour victory when you're in a partnered event. I don't get it. I don't like
PGA
it.
event.
I don't. It's the rules.
Someone
it is what
has
it
to win.
is. But
The PGA has an event, but they don't award a win this week.
well, if it's not it's not a regular PGA Tour event because it's pairs, it's partners.
But it's a PGA Tour event, isn't it?
Well, do you know why? Then the Ryder Cup? Do you
Would
get a
it be
PGA
like a
Tour
But
event?
that's not a
Side
PGA
call?
Tour event.
Well,
That's not on the schedule
but
of
it's
the PGA
the same
Tour.
type of thing. It's a team thing.
It's the same as when the Open Championship's underway in England or wherever it is this year. There's a PGA event happening, and there's a PGA win that gets credited to someone.
Right, but those are PGA Tour players playing
A PGA event.
a PGA event, but they're playing by themselves against a little bit weaker field because the best players are somewhere else. But
I don't know if they still do it. Do they still do the Stableford or whatever?
yeah, but
Is there still that event once a year?
Stableford's silly though because it's just a different way of scoring. I mean, you still you get points instead of over par or under par, so it's still the same guy wins either way.
Hoof-hearted agrees with you.
All right, thank you.
He says agree with Murray on that. I don't know. It's a PGA event to me.
We're not agreeing on much today, you and I.
Yeah,
That makes good radio.
Exactly.
that's okay.
Yeah, we can agree to
This guy, I'm actually mad at Murray a little bit.
Why?
So I asked him this morning, how was golf yesterday? He goes, I'm rusty. So I was like, well, what did you shoot? 72. That's rusty, right?
Unbelievable,
Okay.
Murray.
What a shame. Oh, I'm so rusty.
That
I shot
is
a
awesome.
72.
But, okay, listen, I'll tell you really quickly my first 3 holes. I hate when people describe their whole game, but okay.
I love it.
Number 1, I blow it way right off the tee.
Okay.
Crappy drive. I almost in the trees on the right. So I have to hit a low punch shot underneath some overhanging trees.
Yep.
I didn't take the bounce off the left hill as I was trying to do to get up on the green, but I make a good chip, get par. But I hit a crappy tee shot, just a mediocre second shot. Got lucky to make par. Tee shot number 2, I blow it so far right, I'm in the middle of the first fairway. So I knock it back to the fairway. I'm like 180 yards out, knock it to the front of the green, and 2 putt for par. But so I'm hitting it like crap. And, on the 3rd hole, I miss the green to the right, make a chip to about 6 feet, make the putt. I'm hitting it awful.
It's a good scramble on the first 3 holes.
Par through
You're rusty.
3 holes. I mean, that's rusty. I'm not hitting
That's
the ball.
rusty.
Not hitting the ball good
The
at
rest
all.
of it's pretty good.
Well,
But,
clean it up.
I mean, that's That's like I was. It
And then what happened on
looking
hole 3,
messy.
par 3?
Well, I hit
went-
it short right,
sorry.
chipped it to 6 feet, make a putt, and I'm even par, and I haven't hit a good shot yet. It's like that's rusty. I don't know. Sorry, man.
Even par.
Yeah,
Not bad.
yeah,
Not bad.
even through 3, and I didn't hit a good shot.
Still
It's
shot
just-
He's a
72.
pro.
Yeah.
So that's 1 over? You're 71?
Well, it's
Or are you guys?
a normal par is 71. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the ranch, yeah, for sure. But I got lots of time to go. I always
You got
say
lots of time.
golf doesn't start till the May long weekend. Anything up until that is just warm up. You're just getting ready, and the season
long?
starts May. Well, because I'm old, it takes a long time to
I
get
need
this
to warm
body
up.
used to swinging golf clubs again after the winter.
You work out twice a day in the winter.
Yeah, but it's not
You're
golf.
fit as heck.
Yeah, it's not golf, man. It's different.
I wish I could work out once a day.
Well, drop down and do 100 push-ups right now. You can do it.
I actually think I could.
Your shoulder's good enough for push-ups.
I'm doing
yeah,
some
how's the
planking and
shoulder?
stuff.
Planking?
So I'm
Yeah.
having to sit on it, so I'm able to put weight on it
Yeah.
and stuff
Oh,
like
boy.
that. So I think I could. Well, I don't know if I get to 100, but
Well,
I could get like 30 or 40, and I think maybe.
Yeah, 100, and if you can do 100 without taking a
a
break,
lot.
that'd be pretty impressive.
Well, Clausen's still.
He's still
Garbage
chirping?
bench of the Knicks is way deeper. Underestimate the Knicks at your own peril. This team is special in all caps.
Oh my God.
Clausen's really defending his team.
amazing.
He also is the one that said the Jets were going to be the best team in the AFC East. Well, that was before the Aaron Rodgers injury last year. And then after that, still though thought like playoffs, we're doing it. And he believes in his teams. He has seen some Knicks
Clausen
through.
should stick to rapping, and
He's great at it.
Yeah, stick to what you're good at, Josh. Never mind your garbage sports teams. Just
I love talking NBA with Clausen. It's great. He's
And break some heat. It's freaking cold outside.
yeah,
Josh.
exactly. Do your job, Clausen. Get some heat. Get some
Well-
rain at nighttime only, so it
yeah.
doesn't
So today,
impact
30%
play.
chance of showers. Tomorrow, cloudy, 30% chance of showers.
Hey, this
cloudy all
moisture and,
week.
and precipitation we're getting, how far is it going?
Sorry, he just said they would have been the best in the AFC East.
Okay. Okay, Josh.
Think what you want, Josh.
Yeah.
Think what you want.
Yeah.
The precipitation yesterday and then even today and tomorrow, like what's that going to do?
Well, hey, every drop counts. We need a lot of rain. I mean,
Yeah.
it is really dry, and it's not just for golf courses, for
Everybody,
for
yeah.
everybody, farmers, and our own front yards and things. I know you guys live in condo life, but
Yep.
yeah, the world needs a lot of moisture right now. I didn't even when I was driving here, I should have shown you. I have a picture of it on my phone, but when I was driving to the studio yesterday to do the VIP golf show, there was a fire on the side of Whitemud.
Like a brush fire?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'll show you the picture
Wow.
on my phone. I'm driving here, and I'm like, there was no emergency vehicles that were there yet. So it had just happened. I got to get my face ID.
Yeah.
There we go. Get the mic out of my.
So
out of
the
my way.
equivalent of like for your lawn, because Maddie and I
Look
are in
at that.
downtown condos.
That's on the side of the
geez.
white mud.
That looks
on my
like somebody
drive.
set that.
Well,
like,
yeah, like.
That looks like somebody set that.
So when I drove here today, I was trying to see where it was because I thought maybe that there was going to be a whole lot of burnt trees or whatever,
Right.
but I couldn't even figure out where it was. So I was trying to drive. Maybe I just missed it.
Right.
But that's kind of crazy. And you just think about how dry it is.
Yeah.
And to me, that might have been like a cigarette butt or something, maybe,
or somebody living out there.
But that's kind of crazy. So moisture just be good for everybody. So get on it, Clausen.
Let's go. Sunshine in the daytime, rain at night. Thank
And
you,
a
Josh.
little warmer, please.
Please,
And calm the
Anthony.
wind down a little bit, too, because that impacts golf balls, too, Clausen.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
I could golf in rain. I could golf in cold. I could golf in all that.
No.
I don't mind it. It's the wind that pisses
Wind,
me
yeah.
off.
I
just
do not like
hate
the wind either.
Just annoys the hell out of me.
I was gonna say the precipitation thing. The equivalent for Maddie and I is the rain washes away the puke from Ice District.
Oh, man.
Dude, you could just tell. You could just see it. Like honestly, you walk around, and you're like, oh well, yeah, game night last night. There's puke. There's puke.
Oh, boy.
I left Hudson's too late yesterday.
Yeah.
Because then I had to come into downtown.
Right.
And go by it all to get
In
to
the middle of it all.
And I had to go for one block, and it took me like 10 minutes. Just literally one block to turn right to get to our condo. I just got across, and it was just that's where everyone's walking from. And
Yeah.
people are also trying to turn right or go straight, and I'm just like, great.
This
I'm stuck here for like 10 minutes, and I literally need to just drive one more block.
Oh, boy.
But so
Yeah.
I planned that poorly. We will be at Hudson's on Wednesday. We don't know which one though. Jay's going to reach out. today, and hopefully we will let you know which Hudson's Tommy will be at on Wednesday. We're also waiting for the NHL to tell us what time.
Yeah.
Somebody did text in a picture of TSN app that had 6 o'clock. I think they had all the games on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. If you go to the NHL website, it's TBD. I think so. I think that's just a placeholder for TSN at the moment.
Usually we get an email from the league.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my email.
So here's what I'll say. I don't think we will get a game time until after Panthers Lightning today.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
I think it will be dictated by if that series ends tonight, it might impact when we'll have the games.
Yeah.
If that series continues, that will obviously be a 5:30 start on Wednesday, and then they'll do the other two accordingly. So I think we're probably going to find out later tonight.
Yeah.
7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight when that game will be on Wednesday.
We did get an email press release from OEG. The Hoop City 3-on-3 returns to Ice District this summer.
Yes.
FIBA 3-on-3 World Tour, which is a really neat event.
Like that's early July?
Yeah, it will be July 5th to 7th at the Fan Park at Ice District, which it's pretty cool. Like
we had Paul Sir on to promote that. The weekend after March Madness, the first weekend, the Monday, me, Eric, and Paul were on. So I don't know exactly what date that is. Paul had a lot of great info on that if you want to go back to the Hangout from that day to get more information on that, because it also involves youth teams getting to play, and there's a lot that goes into it beyond. Like, it's the final event of the 3-on-3 players before the Olympics. So it's a big warm-up for those teams as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun there. But yeah, if you want a little more details, I know Paul Sir just from back whenever that would have been the Monday after one Monday in March. If you go back and find that Hangout with Paul Sir, he gave a lot of great info.
So what's the difference between those two areas downtown? Like one's called the Fan Park and one's the Watch Party?
Yeah, so the Ice District, like the plaza, is where Ice House is, and the Ford Hall, walk up to Ford Hall is, and the skating rink is. Fan Park is where the Baccarat used to be.
Yep.
On 101 and 104.
So is there a difference between what goes on, or is one's kind of the overflow from the other, or is it totally independent?
They put up a tent, like a beer hall in the Fan Park, and it looks awesome. Yep. Looks really good. They had DJ in there. I saw they had Sierra from Global hosting. Just more of the same, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Ice District, I would say, like for Oilers playoffs, like that's where you're going to get the TV shots generally, I think, from Sportsnet. That's because it's got the whole district around you and all the buildings and stuff. It's also going to be more younger. So it's going to have the...
It was younger. When I walked through it on the way to Wednesday's game, I'm like, the average age looked like 18 to me.
Yeah.
Like it was young.
Yeah, so that's like, you're going to get the early 20-year-olds and stuff. They're partying there. Fan Park has a little more family friendly. And then they've added Molson House, which is just another, I guess, more overflow for Ice District for if you are wanting to really drink.
Dollar.
That's where you would go, because they've done it so far. What I could gather, they've done a great job of crowd control of the moss pit to make sure that doesn't overflow. And they're now pushing people. Okay, we're full. Go over here. Yeah. Let's fill this spot up. And so I would say it starts with being a little more family friendly, plus the overflow from moss pit.
So that's what I was kind of wondering if one was maybe for the younger party crowd and one was maybe for a little more older, family friendly. So yeah, that's interesting. Did you guys hear about that? What happened in the game 2 in Dallas with a Vegas fan?
No.
The guy himself posted a picture on social media from the hospital. He's from Vegas but lives in Texas. Him and his fiance went to the game, and he's wearing a Vegas jersey. He's walking out with his fiance after the game, and someone, just because he's wearing a Vegas jersey, comes up and sucker punches him.
Come on.
Shatters his face and burnt it in many spots. And so he posted on social media, say, if anybody saw this, please help me out, because I'm going to need several surgeries in the States. You
could go bankrupt or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's looking for help, if people can, witnesses or whatever come forward.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Rangers fan?
I was going to say, there's been a few, but a couple years ago, there was a big one, I think in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Where he got suckered. It was full of video.
Yeah.
The police found him and charged him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
but
dumb.
then there was one recent, I thought this year, another one or something. Maybe I'm mistaken on that one. But yeah, like the guy got like knocked out cold.
Yeah.
And there's full video of it.
It was awful.
But
was
for
awful.
for no reason, probably, right? Just because he's wearing the jersey.
I think it started off being an argument about the team game or whatever, going back and forth. But no matter what, it's just sports. Like, no matter, like, one, you probably shouldn't say things that are too far, but in the end,
Get fueled
there's
up.
no point. Like, you let the players do the fighting
Well,
on the ice.
yeah.
You know, fighting in quotes type thing.
Yeah. I learned long ago, though, like, I do not wear opposing teams' garb into a building because, like, it's just the verbal abuse you get.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel safe doing it, so I don't. And my big experience that made it so I went to Labor Day game in Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
Went down, and I was just on the train going to the McMahon Stadium, and like, I didn't feel comfortable on the train before the game. I'm just sitting there. I'm not saying anything, I'm not doing anything, but I'm wearing Eskimo garb, and I'm getting chirped and called crazy names, and I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel safe, and so that was the last time I've ever worn opposing team garb in an arena. 'Cause
You went
I
to
just
Labor
don't want
Days.
to.
Yeah, but I was there on a bus with like
Yeah.
60 other people in green and gold, so it kind of changes things.
It changes
a little bit.
things if you're with 60
Yeah.
people.
I did a
yeah.
Ravens jersey at a Seahawks game, and it was actually really good. I got ripped, but all in fun. They were really good about it, and Seahawks ultimately won, which sucked. Great for them, but the only experience I've had with the opposing team, it was okay, but it's also one where I'd have to pick and choose my moments, I guess, with that.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of NFL games, and like I've seen it a lot where guys are just cheering for the other team, and other guys just come and thump them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to thump them sometimes, but it's not good. I don't get it.
There was like a couple of stabbings right outside Dodger Stadium a few years ago.
Didn't they die?
Yeah. So that stuff's happened. Like Oakland was always really rough, and it's kind of
Raiders-
messed up. Like, you really think about it, you go to have a good time and you get just sucker punched like
Yeah,
that.
It's
just
worse
brutal.
overseas. In Europe,
Wow.
like there's like it's known, like, do not sit in certain sections, because if you Real Madrid taking on Barcelona, if you're a Barcelona person, you somehow get a ticket into Real Madrid section, what the hell are you doing? And there's been people that have gone and worn the other team in there, and it's like you're asking to get murdered almost.
Yeah.
Like, because there will be someone that will take it over the top and come at you.
Just because you're wearing the jersey.
And you're sitting in the wrong section then with it.
Yeah.
Like, do not sit with the other supporters. Like, you're asking for a fight. And there's many stories of like where wrong person sitting in the section and they'll get escorted out because it's like, this isn't safe for everyone involved. Like, you need to leave.
Yeah, let's just move you to another spot here right now. Yeah.
This text comes in from Anthony. Says, I'm with you, Murray. I always buy a hat or shirt for the home team. I've witnessed way too many incidents at events to wear visiting gear. The worst was a gang beating over 20 Colts fans in Oakland. They would wait in the bathroom, then beat the guys up in the bathroom.
Just for wearing, you just walk in wearing that jersey and you get
At the
it.
very least, just wear neutral colors. I've gone to Riders games with the boys.
Yeah.
I made sure I was just complete neutral colors. I'm not cheering for the Riders. I'm not going to put green and white on. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
But I won't wear Calgary BC colors or Elks colors at Mosaic. I'll just wear neutral colors and I'll just enjoy a good football game.
Yeah, well, that's what I just dress normal to games if I'm not cheering for the home team. The worst one I ever saw, I went to college down in California, and I went to a Los Angeles Raiders game against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
And at LA Coliseum, there's at the bottom, there's like a fairly widthy walk path.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy had a big Steelers flag, and he kept going down there and waving it. And I'm just like,
Asking for it.
he asked for it. And eventually some guys just went down and tuned him in, and got boot stomped by about 5 guys. And when I was watching the news that night, there it is on the news, because the guy's like half dead.
Asking for
Yeah.
it. Yeah. That's
And like,
trouble.
look, they should in one way, like, it shouldn't be a problem. You should be allowed to wave your flag.
Should be.
But at the same time, it's like, with the way how crazy some people are, you are asking for trouble. That someone's going to do something, and
in
it's just
Raiders fans.
Yeah.
Raiders fans are just off the charts. for
Right.
How passionate and loyal they
you
are.
can't defend stupidity. That's just what it comes down to, and in all assets of that. So. This is the EST Hangout, presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer, Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. I'm just trying to see which one.
Okay, this is from McLovin.
Oh, that just came
via the
in, okay.
inbox. Yeah, this is crazy. My chemistry teacher in high school told stories about opposing fans of football, soccer, clubs going into the other section and throwing darts at people. That's messed up.
Holy.
Fandom could be just so weird.
It is insane.
It's
How about like the football hooligans, soccer hooligans, obviously, that like go and like fight
the
other,
streets.
and they like, it's like almost like it's set up.
oh, it's the ultras.
Yeah, the
It's
ultras.
the ultras of their team. Me and Eric will look, and during Champions League especially, or Europa League, there'll be like two teams that are about to meet, and you're like, oh, watch the ultras.
Do they
'Cause,
put
like,
them on YouTube? The fights?
Well, it's just watch on
You see
social or
some,
something, and
yeah.
you see like in the day before or something, or day of the game, just in the streets, massive brawls. Because they're set up to like, we're coming to your city and we're gonna fight, and it's the ultras of it. Like it's the ones that take it
Oh
really
my
far.
God.
And there's just certain ultras out there that you know that, especially when they meet other ultras, it's like, we're set for a fight tonight. This is happening.
Man,
That's messed up.
It's very
just
messed
a
up.
game, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, to them, it's a life. Like I that's part of soccer is that it's just more ingrained in you than anything we have over here.
Yeah, that's
And then
crazy.
the ultras take it a step further.
Well, just
Again,
go
I want part of soccer to come here. Those are the things that I want to stay there.
yeah, just go and have fun. Cheer for your team and have fun, and when it's over,
Yeah, but it's
whatever.
more fun to beat the crap out of a bunch of fans than go to your game. I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious about that. But like, I've watched a few documentaries on football hooligans, and it's insane. And there's like some crazy Polish ones. Obviously, in the UK, they're nuts. But yeah, they literally like they're covering their faces or having silhouette. They have to shoot it like a silhouette because they don't want to be seen, obviously. But they go to beat the crap out of each other, and it's like one gang going up to the other gang, and then they just brawl, and then what soccer game?
Trev Lindy says, my wife is from Calgary and is a huge sports fan. I'm from Edmonton, big Oilers fan. Whenever there's a BOA, NHL, or CFL, she gets yelled at for Calgary jerseys more than I do when I go to Calgary. Edmonton can be pretty bad fans in
Yeah.
that way. To me, it's
Both
just overall,
sides.
I think it's across the board. They're all,
100%,
it happens.
yeah.
It happens everywhere. Canucks fans are bad. Oilers fans can be bad. It's the minority of all teams. Like even the ultras in soccer, they're the minority. But it's like Yeg Wave. We focus on the negative stuff and we focus on the worst as opposed to like based on a lot of videos I've seen from the Moss Pit. It's actually been really great these last few games.
Well, there's been fights though, because you
There's
see
been
that
a couple
on
of fights, but there
YD.
was a conga line one game.
Yeah,
that
They're
sounds
just having fun. They're having this little conga line and stuff, but we don't always post the good.
Yeah.
Thank
We
God
posted
Yegwave
them.
sometimes posts the good, which
It's
so,
why like the
okay,
news
good.
can suck and you could think the world sucks.
Yeah.
Is because when you watch the news, the top stories generally are going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the big things though that are happening around the world, and
Man.
the good news comes a lot later.
Yeah.
But if you only watch the first 15 to get the top stories of the day, the world is crap.
Go to hell.
Yeah. Well, and to that texter's point, when I'm a Blackhawk fan, Oilers are my second favorite, but if I'm going to Blackhawks games, I'm cheering for the Blackhawks.
Right.
But I am absolutely not wearing a Blackhawk shirt or a Blackhawk jersey. I'm just going dressed like this.
Yeah.
And, I'll go scores when my team scores, but I'm not going to say anything to anybody. I'm not going to, I'm not going to wear my stuff to put myself out there in a position that I don't really want to be in. So.
Here's an idea, and I've lived it. Just be a fan of a perpetually bad team, and then wear their gear. And when you go somewhere, people just feel sorry for you, a la the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, yes.
They're like, oh, well, I hope you had a good time.
How cute.
Yeah.
That's
a
nice.
nice color on
You
you.
support them, yeah. It really brings out your eyes.
Should we feel that way about people that wear Toronto Maple Leaf stuff, though?
Oh, well, you can't because it's so obnoxious.
That's different.
Yeah, that's way
Well, it's the same
different.
as, I'll throw it the same as Cowboys. Like they're in the same era in a sense.
You will never.
It is. Now the Cowboys have won a lot
Yeah.
more recent than the Leafs, but there'll never be sympathy for Cowboys. Like there'll never be sympathy for Leafs,
Right.
Because you're too big.
Fair.
And there's too much arrogance that comes from the organizations or the fan base of them that it can never happen.
Yeah.
Whereas like at least the Cubbies until they won, there wasn't real arrogance from Chicago. They were just the lovable losers.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I hate, though, too, on the same kind of thing? Like, when my team wins a playoff game or whatever, I am not sending texts out or stuff on social media and chirping everybody about how my team beat your team. Like, hey, I won, yay for me, but I'm not going to go chirping. And I hate it if my Cowboys lose, like Packers is a big one because I'm a Packers fan. Like they beat my team and then like 15 people will send me a message on Facebook. Cowboys suck, Packers beat them. Yeah, like, how about just be happy for yourself and you don't need to chirp me? Like I would never do that.
What I don't get is there'll be nasty chat at post games, and fans from other teams will sometimes
I
jump
think
in
that's
and
funny.
troll. Where I don't get it is you're now just allowing the other, like Canucks fans jumping into an Oilers chat.
They've done
You're
that.
allowing the Oilers to live rent free in your head.
Totally.
That the number one thing you have to do when the Canucks win a hockey game is go, I'm going to shove it in Oilers fans' faces, as opposed to just celebrating your own team.
Exactly.
This is where, like, I know I get ripped for being a Yankee fan or a Duke Blue Devil fan or stuff like that.
You're a fan of like 64 teams.
Yeah, but also like a lot of the
we
teams
are,
are
just
top
different
teams.
sports.
They're hated teams.
Yeah, you're
I
a
know
bandwagon
the
guy.
Yankees are absolutely hated. I get it. So is Duke, but I don't worry about other teams. Like we're so like in our minds as fans of those teams, we're too good, and everyone else just go away. You don't matter to us.
Yeah.
The Yankees win, go cry. We're just gonna go celebrate over here, but you like, and
But
it's like it would never.
That's fine. Go celebrate over there. Just
celebrate.
don't have to chirp everybody else. So.
That's where I think some fan bases need to get to is where, like with Oiler fan base, where I'll be critical of them. When McDavid's draft lottery was won, all they focused on was that everyone else was crying about the Oilers winning. There was too many comments about, look at this article from Toronto saying the Oilers didn't deserve it. They focused on everything else as opposed to just laughing at them. Going, you could say whatever you want, but where's McDavid going? He's coming here to Edmonton. So keep those tears coming.
Yeah.
We're good here.
Yeah.
But instead, it's why are they upset? And it's like we want acceptance from the rest of hockey. Whereas when you're the best, when you're the Cowboys, you don't care what everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
You just sit there and go, we're the greatest. Screw you.
Yeah.
Screw everyone else. And that, like, when the Oilers eventually go win a Stanley Cup or they move on, like, one thing when McDavid has done great things in the years past, sometimes people are quick to go, Matthews wouldn't have done this. Leafs wouldn't have done this. Keep that out of your mind. If the Oilers go win the Stanley Cup this year, do not say anything about Toronto. Don't say anything about any other team. That's how you get to becoming a top franchise, and that arrogance of a top franchise is you don't worry about anyone else because you're that damn good.
Yeah.
And Oiler fans need to learn how to puff out their chest a little bit more and not worry about what any of the other 31 teams think.
Well, and a great example of that too is, Austin Matthews is just as good as Connor McDavid, but
No.
yeah,
The answer
like
to that
Push
is
that aside.
yeah,
Who cares?
like,
not true.
If you
That is a
really
false
are that naive to think that, well, good for you. But like
It's like with the Cardinals fan. Just tap them on the head and be like, good job.
Yeah.
Nice thought.
if
Go
you-
away.
That's cute.
if you think Austin Matthews is in the same breath as Connor McDavid, okay,
You're
good for
never,
you.
ever going to see a Columbus Blue Jackets fan get punched in the face.
They have fans outside of Columbus.
Maybe.
I don't know. Have you met one?
No.
I don't think I have. yeah.
I have an Arizona fan. Do I know? Have I ever
Well, we
ran
know
into
Jesse.
Columbus? Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
Arizona fan. Who is then still debating whether he's going to cheer for Utah, depending on if they sell alcohol. That's
So
his,
even that's in limbo.
It's his thing.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think if I've ever come across a Blue Jackets. You know who actually didn't mind them?
Who?
Yaremchuk.
Okay.
He didn't mind them.
Big Scott Housing guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he might have been a little bit of a Blue Jackets fan when he first
Here's
started
another
working
one-
for us. Like
another
it's a lower, like no, obviously his love for the Oilers is bigger than anything. But I think he had a soft spot for the Blue Jackets.
You know any Carolina Hurricanes fans? Even though
Jocelyn.
we're a better team.
Yeah.
Jocelyn.
Okay.
One of our
Listener who texted in
nasties, yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking that Jocelyn, when she was saying, I want to watch as much hockey I can get, I'm thinking, if she's single, she needs to put that in a dating profile and she'd have a lineup of guys 10 blocks.
I think she's still with Jay. James? Yeah. Jocelyn? Yeah.
Okay, so
Pretty sure.
I'm not in tune with all of our listeners' relationships.
Yeah,
I've met so many more listeners.
You're out way more than I am.
Yeah,
so-
that's true. That is true. Okay. Speaking of all of this, like battles between fans, Sam in Leduc County says, guys, reference my text from earlier with Eric, and this is a good one. Sam in Leduc County grew up in Glasgow, moved to Edmonton in 2017. He was in a Celtic pub after an Old Firm game that Rangers fans threw Molotov cocktails into. I then witnessed the gangsters that own the bar take care of the Rangers arsonists in the middle of the street. You can imagine my shock when I moved to Edmonton, saw friends come into the bar I worked in wearing Flames and Oilers jerseys, Sam and Leduc. Apparently, so they watched the Celtic fans chase him down, turn his head into jam on the street. The guy threw Molotov cocktails. That is so messed up.
To a bar owned by gangs.
Oh man.
Yikes.
Remember that old end zone pub right across the
Yeah.
street?
Oh, I never got there. I
Okay,
never
so
got
I did.
there.
It was actually surprisingly after games, not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
went. It was so shockingly a Riders Eskimo game, and we go over there. I was with another guy and 3 girls, and we were sitting in there minding our own business. Some Rider fan takes a hat of a Eskimo fan off of his head, throws it, just so happened to be underneath our table. The guy I'm with, Jim McCulley, he picks his hat up, hands it back to the guy, and then the guy goes up. Anyways, this is a long story short. They start fighting anyway. Pier 6 brawl ends up starting. When we finally kind of sneak our way back out, I'm going to say there was at least 40 people fighting when we finally decided to get the heck out of there, and like people on a pool table, there was a lot of just nasty stuff going on in that brawl, and we snuck our way out. But one of the girls left her jacket over there, so Jim McCulley kind of sneaks back through trying to get her jacket for her.
Jeez.
And through all these fights, he said 2 guys asked me if I wanted to fight when he finally got back, and there was blood all over the girl's
Oh my
jacket.
God.
Anyways, we snuck out, and by the time we got to the LRT, there was like 5 or 6 cop cars there, and oh man, what an absolute mess.
That sounds like what an end zone pub would be to me. Having never been, that
Yeah.
sounds like an experience of what it would
there,
look like.
Yikes.
There was some people getting beat pretty good. And,
Wow.
guys just randomly going up and just punching people like crazy. Just walk up and bam, walk over here, bam, and I'm just like, we got to get the hell out of here. This is not good.
Ranger Nick's like, guys, I missed the beginning of this topic. Where was there a fight after the LA game or a fight in the moss pit? Ranger Nick, there's always fights in the moss pit.
There was a fight in the moss pit, I think, in game 1.
Murray was talking about a Vegas Golden Knights fan.
Yes, that's how this conversation came up, and then it's just blown up into
Yeah, if you
issues across sports when it comes to this.
you go. It'd be easy to find on social media. I go, a Las Vegas fan was at Dallas, got sucker punched, his face is shattered, and he's looking for witnesses and whatnot to try to help him out, to find out who did it to him. So
Collingwood Rob says, "Hey boys, only time I've ever called out someone wearing a jersey is at Rogers Place. I'm a Bruin Oilers fan, like Low Tide. However, when the Bruins play the Oilers, I wear my Oiler jersey only. This guy at the game had both jerseys and took off the Oiler jersey when the Bruins took the lead.
Oh my God.
Come on.
You can't do that.
It's like, that's front runner at the worst. Cheer for both. Like, pick one if you're
That's
going to the game.
awful.
Pick one.
that'd be fun if you could get a jersey that was like half and half.
I don't like those.
You don't like those?
I can't stand
They
those.
were like Frankenstein together. It's
The
like,
only people that I think can do that I'll accept, is when a family member, like 2 family members are going at it. Like Kelsey's mom, if she wanted a half Eagles, half Chiefs jersey,
Yeah.
I could live with that.
Yeah.
You're trying to support both
Yeah.
of
Both
your sons.
kids, yeah.
Yeah.
But beyond family, no. Pick a jersey or don't wear one.
Yeah, fair.
Pick a team. I've seen, who did I see lately? I was at a game at Oilers. I was walking by and I saw a half. I can't remember which one it was. And I was like, that's just, no.
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 Why'd you do that?
Just pick a team.
Pick one.
Or don't, just being somewhat neutral.
Right. Rip City Step says the end zone was usually fine on game days. I met more people fresh out of jail at the end zone. Was a bar of the people. The regulars were wild.
Wow.
I believe it. I believe it. I think Lieutenant Eric has an end zone pub T-shirt.
Well, I think he got that from Reed.
Yeah.
Clark, because
Yeah,
I think
'cause it was,
at the time when it was Ross Flats.
Ross Flats thing.
They did an end zone pub shirt, I think. And I think he gave it to Eric.
Yes, they did.
I think that's what,
Yes,
that's what
they did.
happened.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's funny.
It's not the end zone pub though anymore, is it? It's
No, it's a liquor store.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The daycare's still open. I love that. Like,
daycare,
a bar.
end zone
I know
pub,
it's
yeah.
a liquor store, and it's just like, there's a daycare.
daycare.
But I think it's a liquor store now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it went to, I think someone tried to make it another bar.
Was it Selassie's? I remember.
I think you're
driving by
right.
Yeah, and it didn't
And
last that long.
then now it's opening up as a liquor store or something. So get your drinks before you head to tailgate, I
My
guess, or something.
goodness.
You know,
well,
like-
that's actually perfect. I mean, too bad it's only 9 games a year, but
Yeah.
yeah, but there's gonna be some good ones, and it's 3 hours this year.
3 hours of tailgating.
They could set up as early as 3 hours ahead of time.
I was talking to Jay and Andrea yesterday at the watch party. They are set up for the tailgate, and they're going to go buy a new grill for the tailgating specifically. So they're talking about all the themes and stuff. Sounds like people are getting pretty amped up for the tailgate this year.
It does. Like people are reaching out to me already and saying, "Yeah, I got stall number, whatever. You're gonna have to stop by before the games all the time." And I'm like, "Geez, this is organized and structured. This tailgating now."
We'll have to get Jerry Haraxi in here pretty soon before that first preseason game. What do you think?
That'd be a good one, Tom. We actually need to talk to him.
Yeah.
Who's Jerry?
He's in charge of Spirit of Edmonton.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so they have their big spot, and they do a lot with the tailgate as well. And it's a big year for them.
Important year.
Important year, but it's also, I'm going to be wrong. Is it 50?
I think it is.
Is it 50? Is that the
you
number?
mentioned that, yeah.
I know it's a celebration number, and I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's 50. Big celebration. You're going to really big hurrah coming up in Vancouver this year. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. CFL draft tomorrow is going to be great because it's the beginning, right? Like I think training camp is around May 12th for the Elks. Fan Day's May 18th.
Yeah.
We're going to be live at Fan Day, myself and Jay Milne. Clark Park, May 18th. Hello Hockey will be on that day from 10 to noon. Then afterwards, me and Jay will be at Fan Park for a couple of hours. First preseason game, couple nights ago, we were 28 days away.
Yeah, I saw
So I think
that.
now we're 26 days. I think Saturday was 4 weeks away from first preseason game. Game 1 is June 8th or something. Like it's almost here.
It's almost May.
It's hard to believe. Time flies.
It does, man.
We're definitely going to have to do a EST night again in my suite at the.
Oh, that was fun. That was a
I
great
would
birthday
potentially
party.
love to be there, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
What are you doing?
He's
Pre and post. We'll
game.
see where pre and post might not be. We got to see where we're going to be at this year. That's all I'll say. So
Hey, now.
It's in the works.
there's some things that we'll see what can happen. But yeah, I might not be able to fully
Well, you
get
could come
there.
in the middle. You can do the pre.
It all depends where it
It
is.
depends where it is. Yeah.
It all depends where it is.
Oh, that would be easy. It depends. Yes. Okay, never mind.
So-
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying
There's options.
that was a lot of
There's
fun.
one right now. I think there's one option which will make it very easy. There's
One-
another option which would make it kind of okay, and then there's another option which who knows.
End zone pub right there, baby.
It'd be great if someone
Part
opened
dead.
that one. Maybe that's what EST buys next. We had Garno Pub on. We had Garno Pub on Friday. We're gonna take that one over. We still have Shanks, and then we'll relaunch End Zone Pub.
Shanks and EXT.
EST is just gonna be this massive bar industry.
Yeah, wow.
Any bar we love, we're gonna buy it.
Let's buy stuff.
Oh, that Shanks one though. I'm all over that one.
I love
You
that.
know it. You
I
know
love
it. You
that,
just
Murray.
It'd be amazing. Hey guys, can we all agree that we can call out people who put their own last names on professional jerseys? No dice. Trailer Park Ryan. I disagree with that.
I disagree. I
don't mind it.
I have a Trappers jersey from City of Champs, which used to be Ross Flats. Shout out to Sean and Reed. They're like, we want to do one with your name and number? I don't, it's beautiful. I'm gonna wear it to Riverhawks games this year.
You, as long I get how you might want to buy a new jersey, but you don't want a player to go in something.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a fan of for life for that team, it's you're part of that team.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I don't either.
The Edmonton Eskimos at the time when my son was born gave me a gift of an Eskimo
nice.
jersey with the year of my son's birth and his last name on it.
That's a great touch.
Yeah, what a great touch for the team to do that for me. And Luke is going to be a lifelong fan of the team, I'm sure. But
He better be.
yeah, that
Don't let
jersey.
him cheer for another team.
There's no way in the world we'll ever get rid of that jersey. That's
Right.
a pretty special memento.
It's a great
Get the
touch.
Pro Am Sports, get that framed.
He
Boom.
wore it to many games. Yeah.
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's too small though. He's growing up.
But yeah, I'm not against your own name on it.
Yeah, I'm not
not-
against that either.
I do understand why some people are like, well, you never played or something, but
I don't mind it. I
have more issues with. You have one of these actually. I have more issues with the name of a player on a jersey he never wore. So like putting a Gretzky on a new jersey. You have a Strutty Islanders retro.
Oh, that's cool.
That is
But Strutty never wore that jersey.
no. Well, he
That
literally.
one I think
yeah.
is more of like wearing that out or something.
Yeah.
That to me is more of a faux pas than putting your own name on it.
Yeah.
Personally.
I have one of one.
Yeah.
And it's signed to me, which is awesome. And I have it in my office/studio. But yeah, Strutty.
But like getting Gretzky on a current Oiler jersey, he didn't wear that jersey. Why are you wearing that to a game type thing? Like to me, that's where I'm more like compared to the Iwanyk on a jersey.
How come people call you Iwanyk?
Because I don't correct people.
Even LTE calls you Iwanyk,
A lot of people do.
but it's Iwanyk. So
It is Iwanyk. Because in the
Why do
Ukrainian,
people
the
say
I,
Italian?
the
It's the
I
same
is
thing.
an E pronunciation Ukrainian, so it's Iwanyk. So
here we
we've
go.
gone with Iwanyk. We didn't read. I don't know why we never anglicized it to an E. It's an I. So, but I don't correct people. I don't care. You call me Iwanyk, I'm good. People call me Marty, and I answer to Marty.
Yeah, they
So,
do.
or now actually, Lucas calls me Martin, and I answer to Martin now. He's so like I answer to a lot of things, but yeah, no, I don't correct people. People call me Iwanyk. It is incorrect, but I'm good
Okay.
with it.
all right, Matt.
Iwanyk, it's all the same.
This is
Alright.
pretty funny. The custom jersey thing. So Neil sends it in, and it's a picture with a couple. He said, "Hey guys, I took this photo of these beauty custom jerseys at the Shamrock. Cheers, Neil. Your name 00, any name 00." And if you don't know what that means, is when you go to the NHLshop.com, when you go to customize a jersey, it starts out with any name as the name bar and 00 or your name.
Oh, man.
So this couple got those jerseys.
I hope that's either a joke
It has to be.
or they really screwed up and they got them and crap.
Yeah, they hit.
I think it's deliberate. It's
I hope so, 'cause those
brilliant,
are
though.
epic jerseys.
Those are-
Looking at those.
Yeah.
That's it for the EST Hangout for today. Oilers next game Wednesday. Still waiting for the time. Tommy will have a GCL Diesel pregame show
Yes.
live at Hudson's to be determined. Keep it locked. Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll tell you where that is. He'll be at the rink tomorrow as the Oilers will be skating at some point. They're flying back today. I know
Yep.
Knobloch has an avail or had an avail this morning at some point. Then
Yes.
they'll fly back, and then we'll get set for Game 5 on Wednesday. Murray, thanks for coming in again. As
good.
always, VIP Golf Show. Check it out, EdmontonSportsTalk.com if you want to catch up on yesterday's episode, which is the premiere of season 6. Otherwise, Sunday, 8 o'clock, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk on all of our platforms. Tune in, iHeart, YouTube, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Up next, it is the Lock Shop with Dusty and Huss. And then coming up at noon, it's the Oil Stream. Tommy and Nilsson will recap a little more of Game 4 and look ahead to Game 5. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Angle presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. On behalf of Tommy, Murray, I'm Matt. Appreciate you tuning in. Again, Lock Shop starting in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Have a great rest of your day.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today